Well, Ben White starts tonight for England. He's back on England duty after 4 years refusing to play for his country. He scored on Friday night and was booed. This is his 6th England cap tonight. It's been a strange international career for the former Peterborough and Leeds man. Made his England debut in the same game that Ben Godfrey made his England debut. In his first start for England 5 years ago, Marcus Rashford was captain. Marcus scored the winner against Romania that night. And in his last cap before refusing to play for his country against the Ivory Coast 4 years and 2 days ago here at Wembley, he was replaced at half-time by Kyle Walker-Peters. He's spanned 5 years or so, Ben White, in an England shirt, and he is back. Would it be a surprise to you, Stuart Pearce, if he did go to the World Cup? Bearing in mind, he is contributing to Arsenal's stellar season, and he can play in more than one position.
The answer to the question is yes, it would really surprise me. I don't think he's contributed enough in Arsenal's campaign. People telling me about Timber playing extremely well and the like that are ahead of him at club level. Yes, it would. I think he likes Reece James. He would be his first choice. On top of him, for me, Spence, I thought he played well at left back. I'd like to see him at right back. Livramento can play right back. I think he's got some traffic in front of him. Yeah, it's really interesting though that he starts tonight. That's the thing that's puzzling me. I agree with you. Everything you've said there. Jed Spence can play right. Livramento has been really good when fit for Newcastle. Reece James isn't fit at the moment. We're hoping he's fit for the World Cup. But why is he starting tonight? Well, I'm a little bit flummoxed with that, I've got to say, because I don't think he'll be travelling in the summer. I may be wrong. I personally, and I said the other night when we were watching the game, I would like to have seen Spence, instead of being taken off, go and play right back, and I would like to see him play at least 45 minutes tonight as a right back. I really would, because I saw some really good things as a left back. He just got in advanced areas, making good runs, but it just sort of run aground because of that left foot of his. I'd like to see him on the right hand side, might be slightly better.
The only thing I can think of is a double-edged sword to a certain extent. One, who else you put in there? Tino Livramento started there the other day. He knows what he can do. He doesn't know what Ben White can do at right back. But what he likes in a right back is, if you think of Reece James, somebody that when England are building in possession won't go forward too much, where all the attacking impetus comes down the left-hand side, and that will be someone who can play centre-half and shuffle across. It's what James does. Ben White does that. He's the same kind of centre-half. So whether he's just looking at the dynamic and profile of a player that he wants to play in that position, and that's why he's looking at White tonight.
We heard in that little piece there on Ben White, Stuart, that somebody said that he needs to explain why he refused to play for England. Does he need to do that, or do we just move on?
No, he doesn't. He owes this new manager nothing. It's a clean slate, and Ben White's been picked by a New England manager, not the one or the coaching staff that he probably fell out with at the World Cup. You're disappointed he left the World Cup. They don't come round very often. You never know when you're going to get the opportunity to play A for your country or in a major tournament, but he owes no apology at all, and anything that should be done behind closed doors.
Yeah, and I think the fans have had their say on Friday night, and I agree with you that lines should be drawn now. People have made their feelings clear. He's back for England. He was back with a goal. Let's just crack on with it now and support him as we should be supporting the rest of the England players, and the support is there tonight. It was a terrible performance, really, on Friday night from England against Uruguay. It wasn't one that inspired ahead of a World Cup, but fans keep coming back. And yes, there are empty seats in this stadium, but you've got to remember as well, it is a Tuesday evening, and it's not exactly easy sometimes to get out here to Wembley from central London or from beyond. Big tifo away to our left, and England tifo has been unveiled and unfurled, and it's held above the heads of those England fans in that stand in the lower tier away to our left. The Three Lions crest covers the centre circle, the Volunteers holding it as the teams are in the tunnel, and we await their appearance on the field, followed by the national anthems, and then this friendly England-Japan gets underway. Let me point you in the direction of the Talksport Daily, which tomorrow morning is out first thing, early hours, and you will be able to hear myself, Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce tell you who we think Thomas Tuchel will pick in his starting 11 for that first game at the World Cup. England-Croatia, June the 17th in Group L. Before that, friendlies with New Zealand and Costa Rica on June the 6th and 10th will be live on Talksport from Florida in the build-up to the World Cup proper. Can't wait. Talksport Daily tomorrow morning from where you get your podcasts. As the teams make their way out onto the pitch here at Wembley, flames being thrown high into the air on the far side across the Wembley pitch as Japan walk around their flag and line up alongside the match officials. England's line up behind the George Cross as we get ready for the last Wembley friendly before the World Cup. The last one before the World Cup squad is announced. And with the national anthems, in a moment it'll be England's God Save the King, but first Japan's national anthem, Kimigayo, will be the first one that you hear. Japanese national anthem, their fans away in the corner to our right, and now God Save the King. The World Cup is frighteningly close, worryingly close. Can this game with Japan calm all us England fans right down? It's live on Talksport with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside Talksport's England commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you for the last game on home soil before the real business starts. It's just 11 weeks before England face Croatia in Texas at the start of another World Cup dream, and tonight constitutes the final chance to make a first-hand impression on the man making the decisions. It is a very different dynamic to Friday, when a scratch team of possibles and maybes had a collective audition for a place on the plane. The footballing equivalent of judges' houses. Some had the X factor, some didn't, and conclusions will have been drawn accordingly. But many of tonight's team aren't playing under the same constraints. This is also a chance to stake a claim for a place in the 11, the public fine-tuning of game plans against decent opposition. Nevertheless, there are 26 here chasing 26 places, and with 7 definites and likelies absent, it is likely that 7 of those involved tonight won't be required in the summer, and there's a need for Thomas Tuchel to get whatever remaining info he needs to make the right decisions. Japan, for their part, finished top of a group containing Spain and Germany at the last World Cup. They've got a reputation of being better against better teams. They conceded only 3 goals in their 16 qualifiers, and their second string was good value for their win over Scotland on Saturday. Like England, they fielded a stronger side for this week's second international. It is the least experienced side fielded by England for nearly 2 years, though. The outfield players averaging barely 15 caps a man. It's the youngest so far under Tuchel, with Pickford in goal, White, Gahey, O'Reilly, Mainu and Anderson, Palmer, Rodgers and Gordon, and Foden. And on the bench, Dean Henderson, Trafford and Steele, Livramento, Hall, Byrne, Maguire, Spence, Bellingham, Garner and Bowen, Barnes, Rashford and Solanke. Japan have Zion Suzuki in goal, a back three of Taniguchi, Watanabe and Hiroki Ito, then Junya Ito, Kamada, Kaishu Sano and Nakamura, Doan and Mitoma and Ueda. Both sides also tonight in a position to make up to 11 changes this evening. So I just wonder, Stuart, what Thomas Tuchel will be looking at from his subs. How does he manage that situation? Who's going to need to catch his eye off the bench this evening?
Well, for me, I think you're looking at Bellingham. I would like to see come on. Hall coming on at left back. Garner, I'd like to see him have a little feature. And Spence at right back as well, Jim. I think that's important. And if Gordon's not playing down the middle which it doesn't look as though at this stage he will be, I think him as a centre forward for 45 minutes wouldn't go amiss.
The last action before the World Cup squad is named. Every England friendly a means to an end, but for a few, tonight's means the end to the road. Who could get cut? Could depend on what happens in the next 90 minutes, and that 90 minutes could give the clearest indication yet of what we can all expect in the summer. We are underway. England in their all-white home kit, kicking from left to right, and Japan in their familiar dark blue with white shorts, immediately putting pressure on Jordan Pickford, who can clear his lines and puts it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Japanese right-hand side. So it is Cole Palmer playing at 10 with Rodgers on the right-hand side and Phil Foden playing through the middle. Back three for Japan, with Nakamura, the left wing back, in possession now. Worked for by him for Kaoru Mitoma, but he's lost out to Anderson, who just gives him a little shove on the way through, and the ball is laid back for Mark Gahey. The first goal at Hill Dickinson in the friendly tonight between Scotland and Ivory Coast. Here's Matt Jones.
It's come completely against the run of play. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0. Eli Wahi has bundled home after Nicolas Pepe's shot. Pepe bundling home after Wahi's shot originally hit the post. Before then, Scotland have missed a glut of chances. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0.
At half-time at Carrow Road in the England under-21 game as well. Ian Abrahams.
England 1, Moldova 0. England top of their European qualifying group lead thanks to Ethan Wanyeri's goal in 12 minutes. Shot by Lewis Skelly, palmed out to him, and he finished first time. England 1, Moldova 0 at the break. England in possession here at Wembley with that's part of 2 minutes gone here on Talksport. Gahey works it wide for Nico O'Reilly. It's Riconsa, who's wearing 2 but playing at centre half, just shows for the ball on the edge of the centre circle. It's nudged back to him by Elliot Anderson. Now England will be able to bring it forward. A ball from Kobbie Mainoo, who's back in the starting lineup for England for the first time since September 2024. Anderson skewering one through the midfield for Cole Palmer, who tries to take it on the half turn but has lost possession. An opportunity for Sano to bring it forward. He's found Nakamura. And Nakamura's easily got past his man. Ben White was beaten there. The ball inside the penalty area from the corner of the box sails innocuously wide. But that was an inauspicious start for England's right back.
Yeah, very clever feat there by Nakamura. Manipulated the ball very, very quickly, and it just outfoxed Ben White. And I think it's important that England try to get that ball into Foden, and they're on the same axis at the moment, dropped into inside right, inside left position. Get the ball into those two, and more importantly for them, get on the half turn, Jim.
England by and large pretty good at playing through a press, and as soon as I say that, they've surrendered possession. Wade couldn't make the most of it, and England will be able to play out, but Japan lining up with 3 in a line on the edge of the penalty area, trying to stop England playing out. England initially played through it, then a loose touch saw them give it away, but they are able to pick it up. We are going to find out over the next 12 hours or so the full final lineup. Everybody that is playing at the World Cup. 4 European playoffs underway, and the first goal has gone in Prague, where the Czechs lead Denmark by a goal to 0. The Czechs haven't qualified since 2006. It's their only World Cup since 1990. But they're leading Denmark by a goal to 0. Bosnia-Herzegovina against Italy, probably taking headline status amongst those 4 qualifiers, and we'll keep you updated as Japan bring the ball forward here. Mitoma has been able to hook it back towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and a little bit panic-stricken Gahey waiting for Pickford to come out and claim it. Eventually he got there and was able to clear, and then as Japan work it back, Gahey with another slightly nervy moment just cushions a header straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Japanese right. But Japan have started the bright of the two sides here, 0-0.
Yeah, they have. They're moving the ball quite sharply. Our build-up play's pretty good, and a feature of the game on Friday night was how well we pressed. And I think pressing the Japanese is going to be a very, very difficult affair.
Here's Cole Palmer picking the ball up in the midfield. And he's got a couple of players behind him. He's taking a circuitous route and will just run it down to the left-hand side of the midfield for Kobe Mainu. Why is it going to be more difficult to press Japan than it was Uruguay, Stu?
I think the Japanese will be better at playing through. That is exactly the reason I make that statement, Jim, more so than anything else.
O'Reilly's been fouled. There's a free kick tonight. He's the least experienced of the England players tonight, winning just his third cap for his country. He may well end up winning more than any of his teammates on the field tonight, and Jordan Pickford notwithstanding. England have it again, left-hand side of the penalty area, and win the first corner of the night as the ball was played in. It's just a little double ricochet as it hit Watanabe, then bounced back off Gordon and had a play for a goal kick that Zion Suzuki will take away to our right-hand side. The Dutch leading Ecuador in a friendly. We'll keep you up to date with the goals from the most important of those games as well. But here, with 5.5 minutes gone on Talksport, it is 0-0 between England and Japan.
Yeah, super turn just then by Gordon, just received on the half turn, and that's the sort of body position we're going to need from Palmer and Foden just to receive the ball. The more we can put the ball into them, the better.
A ball laid back to the goalkeeper Suzuki from the goal kick, and immediately Foden orchestrated the press. The clearance went 60 yards forward in a way that the striker is brought down. And Japan have a free kick 20 outside the penalty area. They've been in really good form, Japan. 4 wins in a row. In the last 23 games, they've won 17 and lost only 2. And they've had an easy qualification campaign, as can be seen from the fact that they scored more than 50 goals and led in only 3. But there are many that think that they could easily win their group at the World Cup, which contains the Netherlands. We'll find out who else is going to be in it tonight. It's going to be Poland or Sweden, and Tunisia, who are the other team in their group. You need to win that group, because if you finish second in it, you're probably going to get Brazil in the round of 32. So there's going to be a real premium on that first game for them. Japan against Netherlands. We will be there. It takes place in Texas. We'll be talking you through that and the other 103 games from the FIFA World Cup on the Talksport network when it comes around. Every kick that counts from every game. Ben White played back inside his own half here at Wembley tonight. A little bit of a haze in the air. The first night game since the clocks have changed. Always nice to see an evening game kick off pretty much in the last vestiges of daylight. Gahey has possession on the edge of his own penalty area, and he works it back here for Jordan Pickford. Pickford will take a couple of touches towards the penalty spot. Slow things right down. He's got his left boot on the top of the ball just for a moment. Now brings it through the D, side-footing it forward into the feet of Cole Palmer, but he was immediately put under pressure by Kamada. And a sliding challenge comes in on Ezri Konsa. It was mistimed by Mitoma. Now Pickford will play his way out from the back again.
We spoke pre-game about, if Foden dropped in that deep lying role to play alongside Palmer, which we're seeing at the moment, it might tempt one of the two central defenders out. But if they don't go and say, right, I'll tell you what, you can drop as deep as you want, if we can't get the ball into Foden's feet and Palmer's feet, the centre halves will stay in post, and we've got no one running in behind at that stage.
England have it again with Ben White. Palmer down to the right-hand side of midfield for Morgan Rogers. Hasn't really had too many chances to shine so far. He's given it away to Nakamura. Has it on the left flank, the left wing back. England turn it over again. Mainu with a nice ball forward. Here's Cole Palmer. He's got Rogers outside him on the right-hand side. It was a poor ball from Palmer. And by the time Rogers has wrapped his right foot around it, it had gone out of play. Palmer forced him wider than he wanted to go. He got the pace on the pass wrong. Didn't get the angle right either. And a half-promising situation for England comes to nothing. England, well versed at playing against sides with a back 5 in qualification. Won't expect it to happen too much in the tournament itself, although the game against Panama, the third group game, will be against a side that will bank up in a 5-4-1 and play with 3 centre-halves. So it's a very worthwhile exercise. England playing against Asian opposition. They've never lost to an Asian side in their history, but haven't played too many as good as this Japan team down the years. It's Junya Ito with his bleached hair over on the right-hand side. Loses possession. England winning it back with Anderson, and then Doan has just caught Anderson. And the free kick is taken by England and worked back to the edge of their own penalty area. 0-0 with 9 minutes gone, and it's been a slowish start from Thomas Tuchel's men, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm looking across this defensive back line, and the Japanese are often a 4, sometimes a 5, but often a 4 as well. And England, they certainly need some movement in behind, and it's not overly forthcoming. And I think the longer the game goes on, the more frustrating that potentially might get for England.
Sliding challenge comes in over on the far side, which gives England a free kick. 3 games in the National League tonight. We'll keep you updated with those, including news from Grosvenor Vale, where there have already been 2 goals inside the opening 7 minutes. And Wealdstone have scored them both against Hartlepool. And my esteemed colleague is punching the air in delight with a kind of level of ecstasy that you would only normally associate with a Jeff Hurst hat-trick goal.
Well, not just the trophy looks as though it's in our sights, maybe the National League as well. It could be the double this year for the Stones. Woking will be empty-handed though.
Oh, there's a shock. In comes the free kick from the left-hand side for England. Flicked towards goal and knocked away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Might come back out for Rodgers, whose right-footed effort is blocked. Then it's in from Mainu, and again cleared. Now the retreating Mark Gahey gets his head to that. Esri Konsa diverting it back through the midfield, and Anderson has it now. England able to build from a deeper position again with Morgan Rodgers down the right-hand side for Ben White. He's in the Japanese penalty area as he drills it in towards the near post, where it's deflected behind for a corner, the first of the night. 0-0.
Yeah, good play there. Just after that free kick put in by Palmer, fantastic free kick, and Anderson just got in advance to the ball that was curling back towards him. Just couldn't get a decent header on, and then the overload on this right-hand side. Ben White going on the overlap. And maybe a little dink to the far post might have been the order of the day, potentially.
Now those other 2 National League games, incidentally, Woking are trailing already at home to Altrincham. Southend lead Yeovil 1-0. Here comes this corner then, England's first of the night, hitting with pace towards the edge of the 6-yard box, where a header from Konsa was blocked, and then another volley from him is cannoned away off Watanabe on the edge of the 6-yard box. Right-footed ball diverted in from the England centre-half. Again, that is half cleared, and then an acrobatic overhead kick might find the sanctuary of halfway. Ben White runs after it and actually stops it going out of play. He's got there ahead of Mitoma, and very neatly plays it back for Jordan Pickford. We talked the other night about how important set pieces could be come the business end of 2026 in this international season for England, and they've had a couple of good ones so far.
Yeah, they certainly have. The delivery's been really good, and Japan, I've got to say, they made 3/4 brilliant blocks from efforts by England.
Rodgers fouled here by Hiroki Ito. England wanting to take the free kick quickly. The whistle had gone to the mouth, in fairness to the Scottish ref Nick Walsh. Free kick then taken quickly. Hiroki Ito, if you're just joining us, denied the opportunity to play against his club teammate Harry Kane because of Kane's withdrawal as a precaution, and not in the starting lineup, which is why Phil Foden is playing through the middle tonight, hoping for his first goal in 22 games. England in a deeper position, have it with Mark Gahey. Back it comes now for Kobbie Mainoo, who's near the edge of the centre circle. He's played it forward into the feet of Elliot Anderson. Esri Konsa retrieves a slightly over-hit ball through the midfield. Now he'll bring it back inside the centre circle. Slip it to his left-hand side again for Mark Gahey. England haven't got a good record in home friendlies, having won only 2 of the last 7. They've been beaten in 3 of that run of 7 games. Brazil, Iceland and Senegal. Frustrated the other night by Uruguay. I mean, there's no dressing up what a poor performance it was the other night and what a poor spectacle it was, and nevertheless, still, England's 3rd team came within moments of beating a side ranked in the top 15 in the world, who were pretty much at full strength. So if you look at it in the cold light of day, you take the emotion out of it, and it might not have been quite as bad as we felt at the time. but it might have been. Here's Anderson coming forward through the midfield again. He's got Nico O'Reilly behind him. Deeper still is Mark Gahey, and he's played it to Gahey, who tonight becomes a 129th man to captain England. And the ball is played forward towards Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo back for Anderson. Could well be an England captain in waiting. Back for Gahey. Now to Konsa. England maintaining possession and doing so in an unharmful area, a sterile area as far as the Japanese are concerned. Here's Morgan Rogers. Rogers to Palmer. Palmer working it on. Gordon flicking it round the corner. Foden couldn't get there because Watanabe saw his run and just stepped across it to deny him passage through, and that allowed Suzuki to come out and pick up possession. Still 0-0 here on Talksport.
I'm looking at the lineup of England, and I think there's a really good cohesion amongst the players. You know, they look very comfortable. The only one I'll probably say is maybe Rogers. I think he doesn't look as comfortable on this side of the pitch as I've seen him, certainly for club and country.
Now a big goal in Bosnia, where Italy lead 1-0. Moise Kean has scored that goal for the four-time World Cup winners. Clean sheet for them tonight then, and they will be at the World Cup. For their first World Cup in 3. They haven't qualified for either of the last 2, but they're 75 minutes away from qualifying for this one. They lead by a goal to 0. We'll give you the England trivia question as the half goes on. I'll just give you something to think about now. How many games do you think Italy have won in the World Cup since they last lifted the trophy? Just let you think about that for a couple of minutes. A free kick to Japan, which is going to be taken 6 yards inside their own half over on the right-hand side. And it remains 0-0 here on Talksport. Still 0-0 Wales against Northern Ireland. Scotland trailing Ivory Coast by a goal to 0 at Everton. And Ireland against North Macedonia remains 0-0 as well. Pressure being applied here by Cole Palmer, who will push forward from this number 10 position and join in as best he can with Phil Foden. Japan can bring it away.
They've done very well actually, Japan, playing through the press from England, and it's almost dented England's confidence to go and press aggressively.
Rogers on the right, Palmer at 10 at the moment. I just wonder whether we will see them have a few minutes the other way round, just to see what that brings. Morgan Rogers struggling to really make an impression so far. A player's a real firm favourite under Thomas Tuchel. Suzuki will clear from our right-hand side. The Japanese goalkeeper, it goes over the heads, and England will be able to mop up at the back. The answer to that question, Italy have only won one game at the World Cup since the 2006 final. That was against England in the rainforest back in 2014. The only game they've won in 20 years in the World Cup. They're going to have the opportunity seemingly to put that right. They'll be in a group with Canada, Qatar and Switzerland if they qualify. They're leading 1-0. The Czechs leading Denmark 1-0. Sweden, Poland and Kosovo, Turkey still 0-0 in the other playoffs tonight, as Matoma has possession on the Japan left, and he's fouled by Elliot Anderson, and it's a free kick to Japan.
Yeah, Anderson just getting pulled up there for an alleged foul. I think he's broke a few attacks up already in this game, very impressively.
It's hard to think with the start that he's made to his international career. It's only his 7th cap tonight, because I don't think any of us would really think that he won't start if he's fit every game at the tournament itself. He's got possession again now. He'll just play it forward into the feet of Anthony Gordon. Back for Anderson again. Anderson's inside the centre circle. Back to Konsa. Konsa to Gahey. It's the centre-half partnership that may well start, depending on the fitness of John Stones. Back he comes for Ezri Konsa again. Another goal in the England under-21 game at Carrow Road. Here's Ian Abrahams.
49 minutes gone. England 1, Moldova 1. Vasily Luchita had a shot from the edge of the penalty area. No chance in goal for Tommy Sepford of Arsenal. And it's England 1, Moldova 1.
England, the reigning champions at the under-21 level. 8 wins in a row before scraping a draw against Andorra the other night, and now being held by Moldova, still top of the group. And it would be a huge shock if they weren't to qualify for the under-21 tournament in Albania and Serbia next summer. But 1-1 tonight. It's not been a good week for them so far. England bringing the ball forward. 19 minutes gone. Chances very much at a premium at either end through the opening quarter of this game. Sweden 1, Poland 0 in Solna in the World Cup playoff, as Pickford just gets the ball away from the on-rushing Mitoma. And England mop up with O'Reilly. They haven't got Nico O'Reilly into the game so far. He's a player that we've seen maraud forward to such devastating effect from left back for Manchester City, including in the League Cup final here, 9-10 days or so ago, against Arsenal live on Talksport. But he's been a peripheral figure in the early stages here, Stuart.
Yeah, he certainly has, but out of the two fullbacks, it's been White that surged on, and his average position is probably way further up the pitch than O'Reilly. So that sort of three-man build, if you like, has involved O'Reilly more so than White.
England with Jordan Pickford, just extending his record with every passing minute for the length of time without conceding a goal. It's currently at 921, which is almost 200 more than the previous record that he set back in 2021. Here's Ben White in possession. Be an 11th successive clean sheet for Jordan Pickford in an England shirt tonight if he doesn't let any in. Kobbie Mainoo back out of the England left-hand side for Nico O'Reilly. No great tempo about the game. It's not quite in paper aeroplane territory yet, but you can very much hear the England band above the supporters, which is also another barometer of the level of excitement out on the field in many occasions. England picking it up again with Palmer and Anderson combining well, but then a little reverse was just a little bit overhit. And Ito's going to be able to get it back to his goalkeeper. Suzuki forced out to the right-hand side of the box under pressure from Foden, but he's side-footed it away, and it should be easy for Watanabe to deal with. He's come back through the 6-yard box to his goalkeeper and now out towards Ito, and Nakamura can work it forward through the midfield where Ueda is easily beaten. There's good defending by Mark Gahey, just an exhibition of strength from tonight's captain to get it away. Palmer then dispossessed. Japan will look to try and break quickly. Ueda is making a run ahead of Mitoma. It's come the other side though for Nakamura. Nakamura inside the penalty area. He's gone square to his right hand side, and he's side footed in by Karu Mitoma, and Japan lead midway through the first half. A devastating counter attack, often seen as the Achilles heel of this England team, and Mitoma has picked them off. First goal that Jordan Pickford has conceded in 923 minutes for England. England with plenty of possession, but as soon as Cole Palmer lost it in the midfield, they were in trouble. And it's Japan with their first meaningful attack of the night who take the lead.
I've got to say that was an outstanding team goal, very concise, very direct, and the passing was absolutely magnificent. From the moment Cole Palmer lost it midway in the Japanese half, off they went. England have had a lot of the possession and failed to really break Japan down. As soon as Japan turned it over, Nakamura's ball across to Mitoma was absolutely outstanding, and he just rolled onto it and slotted it right into the near corner.
Well, that goal is the prelude to the break that we're having, which is to mirror what's going to happen in the World Cup games. Midway through each half, there is going to be a drinks break tonight. And England with plenty of time just to assess what went wrong there and what they need to do to put it right. They trail to that Karu Mitoma goal, now from Brighton, giving Japan a 1-0 lead. And the deadlock's been broken in the friendly in Cardiff as well. Lawrence Moore.
Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1. The visitors' first proper attack, and they won't score many easier than that. Price whipped in across from the left, diagonally in. Jamie Donnelly had got himself free. His header down, came back off the post, and he was able, free of charge, free of any marking, to side foot the ball home. Wales with 75% possession, but they are behind. It's Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Lawrence, thank you. England here with 73% possession, and they're also behind. and there's work to do. You've just been purring about the quality of that counter-attacking goal, but that is what they're all about. They are a really underrated team.
The economy of the passing was absolutely magnificent. The ball out wide from Matomo, I thought he was going to shove it out to the right-hand side or keep running with it. He didn't do that. He's played a brilliant ball in behind to Nakamura, and he's just took a couple of touches and then rolled it to his teammate. Perfect weight that said, come on and stroke it in the goal. I think he took a slight clip off of O'Reilly, but you've got to turn around and say, these are tough opposition, and as you mentioned before, potentially could be the favourites to win their group when they get to America, and you wouldn't want to face Japan. They will give you a tough test on what we're seeing now.
Yeah, we saw just how good they were in the last World Cup when they beat Spain and Germany. Here's O'Reilly, and he's fired one wide from 35 yards out when maybe there were better options on. Now, they had a really bizarre World Cup group last time where they lost to Costa Rica but beat both Spain and Germany, finished top of it, and then went out to Croatia in a penalty shootout. So they only reached the round of 16, which tends to happen all the time, a round of 16 elimination before Japan in the World Cup. I think they might get a little bit further than that this time. They are ranked in the FIFA list 19. We always talk about the ELO ratings, where they're, I think, probably slightly more accurate. They're ranked 16 in that. England, for reference, 4th in each list at the moment. And Rodgers will bring it forward here for England. Mainu just stepping beautifully around a sliding challenge from Junior Ito and towards Anthony Gordon. England haven't really been able to attack down the left flank with any cohesion so far, but Gordon can lay back for O'Reilly here. O'Reilly, Anderson stretching after O'Reilly couldn't get the touch that he wanted, and he's done well to recycle it, and now O'Reilly gets it forward, turned by Foden in towards Anthony Gordon, who's flicked back towards the edge of the D, looking for Ben White, hasn't come off. Japan half clear. England will come again. 25 yards outside the penalty area. Elliot Anderson with everything ahead of him. Square to the right-hand side for Ben White. Back from him to Konsa. Konsa to Gehi. Gehi goes round to the England left-hand side for Nico O'Reilly. You put a smile back on your face. Wealdstone 4, Hartlepool 0. Now the ball is with Ben White on the right-hand side of the midfield. Back he goes for Ezri Konsa again. This one, though, 1-0 to Japan with 27 minutes gone here on Talksport. White down towards Rodgers. Rodgers 5 yards in from the right-hand touchline, goes back for Ezri Konsa again.
Just looking at the Japanese lineup here, they're almost a 4 at times, and Nakamura's getting back to do his defensive shift back there. But I tell you what, he's having real impact at the front end of the pitch as well. He's playing this wing-back role magnificently well. If that's his position, it's a real hybrid position, but his energy is brilliant.
Now he's a player that plays in the French second division. Keita Nakamura, he scored against Brazil back in October. Here's Morgan Rodgers, good ball to find him inside the box, takes a touch, tries to work it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and a block from Watanabe took the sting out of the cross, and Japan could half clear. Rodgers has got it again. Little 1-2 with Palmer. Back heel flick for Ben White. White coming forward inside the box, drags it back, can't find Foden, and Japan will try and get it away again. And the one thing that we haven't seen from Phil Foden in this modified role that he's playing in tonight is just that little bit of artistry. He has dropped deep for possession, as we knew that he would. Hasn't really been able to influence it too much. He's got it now. Little 1-2 between him and Rodgers didn't come off. That was down to Rodgers rather than Foden. Foden's got it again now. Palmer's done well on the stretch, gets it wide for Gordon. Ball went behind the Newcastle man, but he had time to retrieve it. Worked forward again down towards Cole Palmer, and it's taken 2 to stop him. But stop him they have. Ball out of play. Corner to England on the left as they look for an equaliser with nearly half an hour played on Talksport.
Yeah, I think he's ended up giving a free kick out in that far side. Little bit over-aggressive on Palmer, and I don't think there was any need for it, really. He was going nowhere, and I'm not sure that Gordon gave him the greatest of footballs, actually.
So in the World Cup qualifying playoffs, Italy, the Czech Republic and Sweden all lead their respective games 1-0. Kosovo against Turkey is still goalless in Pristina. England under-21 qualifiers 1-1 between the England under-21s and Moldova. And in the friendlies, Ivory Coast leading Scotland, Northern Ireland ahead in Wales. Japan leading at Wembley. And here's a free kick that will be taken from the England left, about 6 yards from the corner flag. Right-footed, hitting with pace towards the back post, and Suzuki made a bit of a meal of it. He's just patted it down, the goalkeeper, but was able to claim at the second attempt. Well, the man who plays his club football in Italy with Parma will use the full 8 seconds before eventually dropping the ball at his feet and then passing it out towards Watanabe.
A really disappointing free kick in there from Gordon. He's put too much loft on it, just invited the goalkeeper to come and take it. You've really got to take the height out the ball, really, and hope that any deflection by attacker or defender finds the back of the net. Kamada played forward towards Nakamura, who's really caught the eye, as Stuart's been saying. This is Doan. From him to the goal scorer Karu Mitoma. Mitoma trying to work the angle, forced back outside the penalty area, but Kamada has it now. Back towards Doan, whose cross is blocked by the retreating Rodgers. And the ball spins almost to a standstill on the near touchline. Kamada got there first ahead of the retreating Palmer, and Japan are going to be able to bring it forward again. 14 minutes to go to half-time. It is the Japanese that lead here at Wembley by a goal to nil. And they will feel they're good value for it. Nakamura pulls another dangerous ball back. On the stretch, Kobe Mainu was able to get it away. Back from Ito, the Bayern Munich man, to Kamada of Crystal Palace. Long switch of play from him. And towards Junya Ito on the right-hand side of the penalty area. But an innocuous cross is stabbed away by Gehi. Gordon then loses it, and the right-footed shot from distance is a real speculative attempt from Doan and flies over the bar. It's 1-0 to Japan, 31 gone here on Talksport. I've got to say, on Friday night, I wasn't at all impressed with Uruguay, let alone England. Tonight, we're playing against a team that are not fancied to go deep into the tournament at the World Cup this summer. But this is a brilliant test for us. They're playing some brilliant intricacies, great little triangles and interchange, and it's causing us a problem. They're unbeaten in the last 7 games against European opposition, which is a run that goes back to the 2018 World Cup, where they lost to Belgium. They've won 6 of those 7 games as well. A lot of their players, the vast majority of this squad, play their club football in Europe and in good leagues as well, particularly in the Bundesliga, and they deserve their advantage here. Morgan Rodgers in possession has won a free kick on halfway. Another goal for the 21s at Carrow Road. Ian Abrahams.
England 2, Moldova 1. Great work down the right hand side by Tyler Dibbling. Shot by Wanyeri, which was blocked. Laid back for Archie Gray to lash home into the top of the net. England 2, Moldova 1.
And half-time at Everton for Matt Jones.
And it's Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0. Scotland have had good chances. Christie and McTominay both having shots saved, but they were caught flat-footed when Wahi's original shot hit the post and Pepe bundled home on the 12th minute. And that's how it's remained. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0 at the break.
And the National League Wilston 5, Hartlepool 0.
I'll tell you what, Thomas Tuchel will do himself no harm at all getting down to Grosvenor Vale to look at a few players for the squad this summer.
Only Omar Musa was English. Here's the ball on the edge of the penalty area for England on the front foot here with a right-footed effort that's cannoned back on the top of the bar. Beautifully struck. Might even have been the goalkeeper got a hand to it as Anthony Gordon laid it off. Came back forwards, got it again, played in towards Elliot Anderson. And the fingertips of the goalkeeper have denied him his first international goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure the goalie's actually got a touch on that, but certainly it was some effort. It was dipping, and it was probably a foot short of dipping into the net. Goalie, well, let's give him the credit, shall we? Let's have a little look, just looking at a close-up of that. I'm not sure he's touched that, but great effort all the same.
Anderson looked to the heavens in frustration. England with the third corner taken short, played in by Gordon and blocked. It's hit Matoma and goes out of play for a throw. Cole Palmer will leave, and I would imagine that Gordon will leave it as well. It is going to be Ben White to take it. His first international start for almost exactly 4 years today. Taken off at half-time in the last one in a friendly back in March 2022. And remember, 11 changes can be made tonight. So you would imagine a lot of these players will probably not feature too long past the hour mark. It'd be interesting to see how Thomas Tuchel shuffles the pack, what he decides he needs to see. I'll give you the England trivia question very shortly. You've got a choice of questions tonight. Here's Anderson. Will come forward towards the edge of the penalty area for England. The pass just deflected away from Cole Palmer, but it's knocked away from him by Taniguchi. And then Gahey retreats and will bring it back inside his own half. And under pressure from Wader, he's just very neatly played his way out of trouble away from the prolific Feyenoord striker, who's scored 16 goals in his last 23 internationals. Another free kick goes England's way, 25 yards outside the box. As an attacking unit, England have had some nice moments, but they haven't had that cohesiveness that the Japanese have had when they've been in the final third. A few occasions they have. Back from Palmer, this free kick taken short and quickly, and Thomas Tuchel is urging everybody forward.
I think where the frustration lies here a little bit with England is when the Japanese have had it and they've seen the opportunity, they've gone after England.
O'Reilly's done well, stands the ball up, and Foden's headed it way wide. It's not even going to make the corner flag. It will be cleared down the left by Nakamura for Mitoma, but he's lost now. It's a good ball chipped inside the penalty area. That's the problem of having Phil Foden rather than Harry Kane playing at 9.
Yeah, good defending there. As I say, I think there was contact just before. I think Kamada was the one who got back there and just got in front of Foden. That's the downside of having a little in at centre forward.
Yeah, Phil Foden does end up playing in this position through the middle. It's not because of his ability to be able to get on the aerial service like that, whereas some others would have been able to attack that kind of delivery with their eyes out on stalks. Ball clear down the Japanese left by Hiroki Ito. England again have won it back comfortably enough and will bring it forward with Mainu to Rodgers. Palmer taking the ball on the half turn and is able to run Ito now down towards the dead ball line. Might still be able to get a cross in. Foden's done well, just a little deft flick, but that was all he needed to link up with Kobbie Mainu. Mainu into the feet of Palmer again on the edge of the penalty area. Now Nico O'Reilly 5 yards outside the Japanese penalty area. They're looking for the equaliser. Been behind for a quarter of an hour now here on Talksport. Another clearance, this time by Ueda. A side-footed fall by England's Mark Gahey. Palmer trying to flick it on. Sano can bring it away, and then Watanabe will do the rest with a long clearance towards halfway. Wade has done well actually with his back to the direction of play to make anything of that at all. So tonight's England trivia question, you have a choice of two. Do you want a question about penalties, penalty shootouts, or do you want a question about England's Arsenal players?
I think we're going to go. Arsenal are quite topical at the moment because they've not got a few players on international duty, so we'll go Arsenal, I think.
Okay, well, who are the last 10 men to score for England whilst they were Arsenal players? So effectively, who are the last 10 Arsenal players, past and present, to score for England? I'll let you have a think about it. Some, I'd suggest, almost blindingly obvious. A few more, not so much. We'll get the guys' thoughts on that at half-time. And we'll give you the answer, as always, just past the midway stage of the second half. The last 10 men to score for England whilst they were Arsenal players. England trailing here by a goal to nil. Scored by Brighton's Kaoru Mitoma. It's 9th for his country. Taniguchi has it at the back. Out to the right-hand side for Watanabe, whose long right-footed ball forward over halfway is watchfully guided out of play. And throw taken quickly by Konsa, who will just drop it down at the feet of Elliot Anderson. 1-0 to Japan with a little over 5 minutes to go to half-time here on Talksport.
If I was going to describe this game to somebody that wasn't watching it, I would say England have been the best team in the middle of the pitch and Japan have been the best team in both boxes. And we all know that the most important area of the pitch is both boxes at the moment.
8 shots to 2 in England's favour, but only 1 shot apiece on target. Here's Morgan Rogers. Ball in from him to the edge of the D. Palmer. It all becomes very congested very quickly when England work it into that kind of central area. It's the delight that Brighton, that Japan have in just condensing things in that central area around the edge of the D. England with no ability to be able to play through, which is a familiar story at times. They've conceded a free kick here, which the Japanese will take on the edge of the box, and it comes out for Hiroki Ito. 1-0 to Japan. 5 minutes to go to half-time here on Talksport. So just going back to that point you're making, how does Thomas Tuchel rectify it? He'll be happy with, as you say, with elements of England's performance in the midfield that has given them the possession that they have, but how does he give them more sharpness in the forward third? I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment as Mainu brings it forward. Appeals for a handball against him, and the referee concurs, and it's a free kick to Japan.
There's a couple of things I think we probably need to do. Any free kicks, get on the ball and take it straight away, unless you think it's in shooting distance or something that's worked. We had a throw-in down to our right-hand side here. We took an eternity to throw it when an early one was on. All of a sudden, Japan got set and we ended up going backwards and sideways on it. I think certain things like that hurry the game up slightly. And I think Foden and Palmer have got plenty of the ball, but at the cost of not having players running in behind.
Kaishu Sano gets it forward here. Wader's hit the bar. It looked as though he's going to be offside. And the referee and assistant referee give a corner as the ball was played forward. Did he time his run well? Having seen the replay, think that he might have been offside, although the angle was a little bit deceptive maybe, but the flag didn't come up. Now the corner has been given, and Wader will be really disappointed with that.
Well, there's that incisiveness once again. The ball was turned over and there's runners in behind in the centre forward position, something we haven't had because of obviously the tactical lineup that we've adopted.
Mark Gahey's trailing foot probably playing Wader onside. The decision from the Scottish officiating team. Corner, Japan's first. It's an away swinger, headed on towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but England should be able to steer it away. Then when the loose ball comes back in from Doan, it's easily picked up by Pickford, whose long run without an international goal concession was ended at 923 minutes earlier tonight by Karu Mitoma after an excellent ball from the man in possession now, Nakamura. Back he goes from him to Kaishu Sano in the midfield. There's already plenty to chew over in the Talksport Daily podcast, which will come out first thing tomorrow. Myself, Stuart Pearce and Adrian Durham reviewing the game. We'll run through our starting 11s as well for the 2026 World Cup, and it's the Talksport Daily, available wherever you get your podcast and on the Talksport app as well. That's going to be coming your way from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, bright and early, and breakfast as well, also giving you your chance to reflect on what you've heard and seen tonight with Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist, two completely unpartisan England watchers who will be having their say tomorrow morning. Here's Nico O'Reilly bringing the ball forward now with 2 minutes to go to half-time here on Talksport. Gordon plays it back for Mark Gahey. Gahey with Anderson in close support. A pair of them exchanging passes, and England just forced back for a moment. Ben White's got it now. The reverse ball from Rogers. Rogers to the corner of the penalty area where England win a free kick as Palmer just has his ankles tapped. A free kick that they look to take quickly with Ben White. Did take it quickly. It smacked straight off the nearest Japanese player, and the referee says no, take it again. There's no punishment. England lining this up. Let's get very quick news of another England goal at Carrow Road. Ian Abrahams.
England 3, Moldova 1, 17 to go. A second for Ethan Nwaneri, curling the ball in for his left foot from the right hand side. England 3, Moldova 1.
Italy leading their playoff in Bosnia, but they're down to 10 men. Bastoni sent off. Bosnia and Herzegovina 0, Italy 1. But the Italians down to 10 men. Free kick here. In from Palmer. Really deep curving, but not quite in time. Suzuki I only realised really late, the goalkeeper, that had a chance of getting past him and into his top left-hand corner, and he took 2 or 3 really frantic steps, but he didn't get it to do quite enough to nestle the right side of the far post, and it's gone wide and into the hoardings. 1-0 Japan.
Yeah, as I say, I think another thing probably Tuchel will have to address as well, when we do get the ball into wide areas, we're going to have to get more players into the box. In that last build on the right-hand side, you're literally looking at the box and there's 5 defenders, we're probably none, if one, in the box.
Now, one of the other playoffs, Poland equalised in Sweden, but the Swedes have taken the lead again with Lagerbielke. Sweden 2, Poland 1 in that game in Solna. Now we're into 1 added minute at the end of the first half, which will be the prelude, I would imagine, to a stack of changes. The Japanese coach Moriyasu loves to make half-time changes anyway. That was a feature of their performances at the last World Cup, that he almost had different attacking units for each half. Premeditated changes that he would make, and we saw that in the 3 of the 4 games they played. It's 1-0 to his Japanese team. England work it forward again, looking for an equaliser before half-time. Gordon played in down the left-hand touchline, couldn't reach the ball that was worked in his direction. Watanabe shepherds it out of play for a throw that will be taken by the Japanese, and that means that England are going to be behind at the break.
Yeah, they are, and I was a little bit surprised that he's not given Gordon a run out at centre-forward. I'd like at half-time certainly to see him playing centre-forward. However he juggles the pack, I don't know, but that would be the one for me.
Well, we saw Phil Foden play as an 8/10 the other night. Seen the play as a false 9 today. I'm not convinced that he's really done enough to cement his place in the World Cup squad, unfortunately. And the half-time whistle goes with Japan leading, courtesy of that brilliant counter-attacking goal finished off by Karim Mitoma midway through the first half. As dress rehearsals for World Cups go, it hasn't been great. England 0, Japan 1 at the break.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an understatement. Japan have looked more composed, they've looked more in control, they've looked more threatening when they go forward. I've got to say, I've been unimpressed with England, and I need to talk to Stuart Pearce about the goal, really, because it was just far too easy. Cole Palmer gives the ball away far too cheaply. He's then kind of jogging back. Kobe Mainu has to foul but doesn't. He jogs back. Nico O'Reilly's left with 2 Japanese players to contend with, and he can't do that. And it's easy in the end for Mitoma to score. There's so much wrong from an England point of view with that goal, Stuart.
I think it was easy because the Japanese made it look easy. You know, the economy and the way they cut through England, making the correct pass with the correct way, made England's defence look very static in many ways. As I say, as soon as Palmer got turned over, I just trying to equate that to England in the first half. If we'd have won the ball back there, I'm not so sure we'd have been so much cutting edge and so direct, if you like, and lay a pass on for Mitoma just to almost walk onto it and not break his stride. Fantastic finish, fantastic goal. And England have failed to get numbers in the box, I think, and failed with free kicks, throw-ins, to work at a tempo quickly. Yeah,
and do you know what? You picked up on a throw-in down in front of us on the right-hand side during that first half, and I'd already written notes on it. It was so annoying. I think it was Rodgers picked up the ball. All he has to do is throw it in. He leaves that for Gordon. Gordon then leaves it for Ben White, who throws it backwards, and before you know it, we're in our own half. Where's the tempo? Where's the urgency? Why don't they want to get forward?
Yeah, we got a situation, I think, if you got rid of both goalmouths at either end of the pitch, we're probably playing extremely well. But that's the business end to our left and to our right. And that's where you've got to be good. You've got to get into there, you've got to defend it well, which the Japanese had on occasion, getting good blocks and whatever. They've been outstanding playing through our press, I've got to say. That's been a big part of their game. And when they get in and around our penalty box, my heart's in my mouth, because I think they can find the right pass at the right time with the right tempo. I still feel as though we've got the opportunity to have a good look at a centre-forward in Gordon that can run in behind and enjoys running in behind, and it just might break their back line up a little bit.
On that front 4, Foden, Rodgers, Palmer, Gordon, they're all way better than they're showing tonight. Why is that?
I would start with Rodgers. I don't think he enjoys playing this side of the pitch, personally. I've seen him play better work for England and for Villa, playing either on that left-hand side or alternatively tucked in slightly, or he'll start on the left and come in off that angle. I think he's better suited there. I would move Gordon from there into the centre-forward position and say, listen, you're going to have to make movements in behind, and say to the rest of the team, no, we've got a centre-forward now that quite enjoys running in behind. Can we find him on occasion? And then see if that space in the central area opens up slightly.
Are our set pieces good enough?
One or two have been okay. A couple have been awful, to be fair. Chipped into the goalie's hands or chipped way out of play by Palmer just here. So the answer's no.
Midfield, there are positives. I'm really liking Nico O'Reilly, who's left back, but he's coming into midfield. He's hit a wonderful crossfield ball to Rodgers to find him in the box, and he probably should have done better. Little dink for the headed chance that Foden couldn't get on the end of. Really impressed with O'Reilly, who's becoming a serious contender to start at the World Cup. And Elliot Anderson is just on the ball, so good, isn't he?
Yeah, Anderson's broke a few things up, especially early on in the game. As you rightly say, O'Reilly, the one he stood up for Foden, if that's Harry Kane, everything ends up in the back of the net. Trust me on that one, you know. So, yeah, as I say, we're okay. We're keeping possession. The shape of the team looks good, but that's fine for 10 minutes. We want a little bit more cutting edge.
Could do better. Could do a lot better, actually. England 0, Japan 1 at half-time in Cardiff as well. For Talksport's Lawrence Mora.
Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1. The home side dominating possession, but it's the visitors who lead, and probably good value for it as well. Jamie Donnelly, a Spurs striker, on load at Oxford with the goal on 22 minutes, and he won't score many easier. The ball whipped in from the left flank by Price. Cabango had let Donnelly run off his shoulder. Jay De Silva out of position. Donnelly unmarked to head down against the post, and then also had the time to readjust and tap the ball home. Still unmarked. Donnelly moments later tested Darlow with Wales goalkeeper with a first-time shot from Kelly's cross, and then at the other end Wales have had fleeting chances. Colwell's header blocked by Toll, and Kumas with a smart shot that was well saved by Hazard. Craig Bellamy looking really frustrated at break. Michael O'Neill's team masters without the ball and doing a very good job on the home team. At the break, Wales 0, Northern Ireland 1.
You may remember Jamie Donnelly, who was on loan at Orient last year. He's the one who nearly scored from the halfway line. It actually led to the goal, went in off the keeper for Orient against Man City in the FA Cup, live on Talksport. Let's give you the World Cup qualifying playoff finals half-time scores. Sweden 2, Poland 1. Winners of these go to the World Cup. It's that simple. Anthony Elanga on the score sheet for the Swedes. Kosovo 0, Turkey 0. Czechia 1, Denmark 0. And Bosnia 0, Italy 1, and Bastoni sent off. I've seen it as well. He absolutely slices through a Bosnian as he's in on goal. It's a definite red, had to be a red. So Italy are leading, but they're down to 10 men. Winners of those go to the World Cup. Thankfully, it's not all on the line for England tonight. It is just a warm-up friendly, but it's not warming up nicely. It's England 0, Japan 1, live on Talksport.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18plusgambleaware.org.
My name is Kathleen, and this is my NHS story. Having a persistent cough is quite socially embarrassing, so I went to see a respiratory nurse who sent me off for an X-ray at my local CDC, and they were offering Sunday appointments and evening appointments, which was great.
The government is opening new community diagnostic centres, with many already available 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, so the NHS can be there for all of us when we need it. Find your closest one at gov.uk/NHS Fit for the Future, available England-wide.
We believe investing is for everyone. And when we say everyone, we mean your dad, Dan, Danielle, Dean, Dave, Dale, Dell's delivery driver Denise, Denise's dentist Dinesh, and Devon's strongest man, Donathan. Donathan, that can't be right. Donathan? Well, whatever your name is. If you're a real person, investing is for you too. AJ Bell, feel good investing. The value of your investments can go up or down.
Struggling to read your phone or holding menus at arm's length? You're not alone. Take care of your vision with Verilux Varifocal lenses. Get instant sharpness at any distance and smooth transitions from near to far. No more switching glasses or straining your eyes. Visit essilor.com/offers to find out more about Verilux lenses and your exclusive offers.
Trojan knows that to be the best, you need to feel your best. So right now, get up to 50% off new performance workwear. We've drilled down the price on comfort fit jackets, hoodies and body warmers. We've cut the cost of breathable tees, durable joggers, stretch holster trousers and shorts. And we've made slip-resistant safety boots a shoe-in for value.
Enough of the gags, mate.
All right. If you want to level up your game in style with quality gear for less, head to your Arco store or visit arco.co.uk. Trojan, engineered to perform. Offer on selected lines.
A wise man once said, don't turn down free stuff. Like 32 Red's free daily tipping point game, it gives you the chance to win £10,000. Incredible. Plus, play top slots like The Cube, I'm a Celeb, and Immortal Romance 2. Play incredible at 32 Red. 18 plus gamblerware.org. New accounts only. Free to play game opt-in required. 30 times wagering and max withdrawals apply. Visit 32red.com for full terms.
This Easter, enjoy Tesco finest Prosecco Rosé. 25% off when you buy 6 or more bottles of wine or fizz with your Tesco Club card. Just the savings you need this Easter. Because every little helps. Drinkerware 18 plus, majority of larger stores, and 6th of April. Club card or app required. Exclusions apply.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talksport. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
I'm hot under the collar with this.
Concrete sports talk.
Edge that one a stone.
Rapid setting opinion.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh, no. Come on.
Big names all backed up.
David Moyes, John Hart's, Ian Rush.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Delivered tomorrow morning from 10 on Talksport by Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. The football animal is alive. Kick-off live on Talksport.
Another goal for England under 21s. Ian Abrahams.
England 4, Moldova 1. It's come 8 minutes from the end. Roman Esse heading in after good work on the right-hand side from England from the corner. England 4, Moldova 1.
And I'm told Joe Bellingham is playing extremely well in that game for the under 21s. Here, seniors are a goal down to Japan. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gamblerware.org.
So England a goal down. England to win right now 21-10. The draw 2-1, and Japan to win is 5-4. Anthony Gordon's score next was 5-1. It's now been boosted to 11-2. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus gamblerware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gamblerware.org.
And we're well into the second half of the friendly at the Hill. Deco, Matt Jones.
Yeah, 52 minutes gone here. It's still Ivory Coast at 1, Scotland 0. Scotland have just had a half chance from a corner, if you can call it that. Lafont didn't properly deal with it as it came into the box, and it nearly dropped to George Hurst, but the goalkeeper just got down in time at the second attempt to palm it away. Clark has made 2 changes at the break. Bain and Ferguson on, McTominay and Kelly off. It's Bain's first cap since 2018. Maybe a chance to impress before the World Cup. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0.
And the breaking news today has been that Tottenham have appointed Roberto De Zerbi as their new head coach. The Italian signed a 5-year contract with the club. He'll have a say in who the sporting director is going to be. Former Brighton manager, 7 games to save them from relegation to the Championship. More details on the website Talksport.com. Stuart Pearce, is that the managerial appointment, Roberto De Zerbi, that's going to keep Tottenham in the Premier League, do you think?
Having my West Ham and Forest hat on, I sincerely hope not.
But the irony is, Thomas Frank got Spurs into the top 8 comfortably in the Champions League stage. He didn't even get them a playoff place, Marseille. So it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
Well, I think they needed to do something. From what we're seeing with our eyes, they were imploding quickly, and the players needed to have their focus resharpened. So whether De Zerbi's the man for the job, time will tell.
Talking of imploding, half-time in the National League, Hartlepool 5 down to your Wealdstone. Mika Ribeiro with the first half hat-trick. Actually in 21 minutes. He got the rather fluky winner at the weekend in front of you in the FA Trophy semi-final, didn't he? They're 5-0 up. Southend, your Wembley opponents in the FA Trophy final are a goal up against Yeovil, Gus Scott Morris, again from wing-back, their top scorer, who could torment Wealdstone in that FA Trophy final. We shall see. And Woking 0, Altrincham 1, but Altrincham down to 10 men, still winning at Woking. Incredible. Special guest here at Wembley tonight in the Royal Boxes, Talksport royalty Alvin Martin, picking up his legacy cap. Alvin played at the 86 World Cup for England, helped keep a clean sheet against Paraguay in the knockouts, won 3-0. Has always told me he would have put Maradona into Rosed in that quarter-final had Bobby Robson kept Alvin in that England side, and I believe him as well. If you've ever heard Talksport's commentary of that David Beckham free kick against Greece, you'll know how much Alvin cares about England. So congratulations to Alvin Martin, a big night for him. Family of Stanley Matthews here as well to pick up his legacy cap. What a big night for Alvin Martin. We love Alvin. What an absolutely top guy. The trivia question was really interesting. The last 10 players to have been playing for Arsenal and scored for England, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I've got 5.
Who you got?
I've got Rice, Madueke, Eza, Saka and White.
Yes, all correct.
I did have Ian Wright, Alan Smith and Tony Adams down, but they were poo-pooed by the man to my right.
Bit old. Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yes, correct, so that's 6.
Emile Smith-Rowe
is, I think, the hardest one of the lot, so that's 7. Yeah,
that's all I've got. He's got the rest of them. Ben White, obviously. Did he say Ben White?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said Ben White, sorry.
So you got the fight. You've got.
Did you say Theo Walcott?
No.
Theo Walcott.
Yeah, that's correct as well.
Thank you very much.
So you're only 2 short. So you got the 5 from this season: White, Saka, Eza, Madueke, and Rice. And you've got Smith Rowe, and you've got Walcott. You didn't say Theo White, did you?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know. I thought it was one of these trick questions. I thought it was going right back to eternity.
Tony Woodcock.
There, see?
Charlie George.
Was.
Yeah, he's joking.
Who could hit him?
Amazing. Listen, he'll give you the answer to it midway through the second half sometime. Just keep listening, and then he'll give you the answer. He'll keep you updated with those World Cup playoffs as well. But the two teams are back out there for the second half. And I'm saying pretty much what I said on Friday night. Let's hope it gets better. It's live on Talksport. England 0, Japan 1. Your commentary team of the former England captain Stuart Pearce, alongside Talksport's England commentator Jim Proudfoot.
So this is really interesting, Stuart, that there are no changes being made at this juncture from either team. I'm certainly surprised by Japan, but more relevant the fact that Thomas Tuchel is keeping the starting 11 out for a while longer. Yeah,
I'm surprised by both teams. I think if you're going to give anyone a tilt at having a performance, you've got to give them 45 minutes. You know, I'm quite surprised at that from both teams, but obviously more so England.
So we're about to get back underway. England in all white, Japan in their dark blue shirts and socks, white shorts. They're kicking from left to right. England attacking the, still think of as the old tunnel end of the stadium here at Wembley. Japan playing with this sort of hybrid back 3, back 4 as the ball is played for by them and picked up by the goal scorer Karu Mitoma. Run through the two teams for you in a moment as Japan work it down to the right hand side for Watanabe. His ball into the feet of Junya Ito, the right wing back. From him to Doan, back for Watanabe. Japan have plenty of possession at the beginning of this second half. Ball in towards the edge of the box, doesn't find a man. England should be able to get it away. And we've got news of another goal in Cardiff for Lawrence Mora.
Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1. A goal within a minute of the restart of the second half for Sorbert Thomas. It was David Brooks driving at the heart of the Northern Ireland defence. His shot was deflected right into the path of the on-rushing Sorbert Thomas, who took a touch on his thigh and then tapped it home from a couple of yards out. 47 on the clock here, and it's Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1.
Anthony Gordon lets fly from distance. It was easily blocked. He had O'Reilly to his left. And ball is worked back towards halfway, and England will try and come again with Kobbie Mainoo. Back for Mark Gahey. Gahey doing his best to get it between the lines for Anthony Gordon, but again it's easily knocked away by Watanabe. England lining up Pickford in goal. White, Conser, Gahey and O'Reilly. Mainoo and Anderson. Rogers, Palmer and Gordon. And Phil Foden up front, but frequently dropping in as he's doing so now. Just trying to get in between the lines to give the Japanese defenders something to think about. And at no stage are they going with it. The ball goes out to the England right-hand side. White with the deflected ball inside the penalty area, and it's volleyed away. Out for an England throw. Full-time at Carrow Road. Ian Abrahams.
England 4, Moldova 1, a goal in each half for Ethan Wanieri. Romain Esse headed in his first, and the goal of the game from Archie Gray. England stayed top after getting 4 points out of 6 this break. England 4, Moldova 1.
Nico O'Reilly in possession. The England number 3, winning his 3rd cap tonight. Knocked away from in front of him by Watanabe. It's going to come down for Anthony Gordon again. Gordon laying it back for Konsa. Now Anderson. Works it through the England midfield. Out towards Cole Palmer. Rodgers making an early darting run, but he needed the first time ball to be played from Anderson. He's worked it instead down towards the edge of the penalty area. Mainu for Gordon, and O'Reilly and Gordon then combine. O'Reilly will check back, pokes it back for Gordon again. This is better from England. High right-footed ball in towards the far post and headed away and out for the first corner of the second half, which will be taken on the England right. The Japan side, Zion Suzuki in goal. Watanabe, Taniguchi and Hiroki Ito, the back 3. Junya Ito, Kamada, Kaishu Sano and Nakamura. And then Doan and Mitoma off Ueda up front. So an England corner on the right-hand side. Gay standing by the penalty spot. The other 6 players all around the edge of the 6-yard box, and Suzuki was there and able to patrol that 6-yard box really easily. Comes out and makes a comfortable catch and slows things down, and then sprints back to the edge of his 6 as the penalty area is vacated, and he drops the ball at his feet. That's 10 yards to work with, and then we'll just side foot the ball out towards Daishi Kamada over on the far side. England doing well to pick it up in the midfield, and all of a sudden it's 5 against 4 for a moment, and England will work it down towards the left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. Gordon behind square, sliding challenge comes in to knock it away. Doan did well, and we'll take it down towards the near touchline. Doan then back to his centre half Watanabe, and Japan will build from deep again. They lead 1-0 with 4 gone in the second half here on Talksport.
Yeah, we've had a couple of instances where we have turned the ball over, and one probably a few minutes earlier where it was almost a carbon copy of Japan's goal, turning it over, and we end up going backwards and sideways and not having runners going beyond the back line to pressurise them in any way, shape or form.
Now England will come forward again, but Cole Palmer's tactic seemingly to try and bulldoze his way through the middle. Japan able to win it back. Wade made an early run down the inside left channel, and he was well offside by the time they looked to play the pass. Now they scoop it out towards the right-hand side instead, where Doan will chase after it, and he's got it in past Nico O'Reilly, and Pickford does well to save with his left foot at the base of his near post to be able to get it away. And Japan come again with Taniguchi. 5 yards outside the England penalty area. When they get the ball forward quickly, they look really dangerous. Doan for a better pass into his feet inside the penalty area might have been in there, and Pickford has kept his side in this game by making a very important save.
Yeah, the Japanese are very easy on the eye when they do go after you, playing great balls in, and O'Reilly was just done on his a diagonal ball over the top of him, and if you can't get it, you have to make a line to the goal rather than straight to the player. And I think we were fortunate that Pickford was guarding his near post well enough.
Not quite the same, but not dissimilar to one of the goals that Real Madrid scored against Manchester City in the Champions League tie in the Bernabeu, with the ball that was played over the top of Nico O'Reilly. Here's Pickford side-footing it out. Foden from false 9 is 25 yards behind the most advanced England players as he receives that. Gordon has done well. That's a good reverse ball in towards Morgan Rodgers, but they've been able to deal with it and get it back, and it's clear. In fact, it was Ben White who's the furthest advanced of the England players that time. Suzuki, the keeper, knocks it away. He was out on his bike really quickly.
It was that man Nakamura again, Jim, wasn't it? Great recovery from him, the left wing back.
Gordon for Foden. Foden just outside the centre circle. It's 1-0 to Japan. 6 minutes gone in the second half here on Talksport. Your reaction following this on the sports bar tonight. What does it say about England's prospects? They failed to beat Uruguay and lose to Japan. I'll take your calls. Jason Cundy back in the building tonight alongside Jamie O'Hara. 03717223344, most famous phone number in broadcasting. They'll take your calls. Here comes Doan, left-footed ball curved inside the penalty area. Didn't have the height to trouble Jordan Pickford. He's come out and caught it easily on the edge of the 6-yard box, and now will bowl it out to get England going again.
Unfortunate there that Dohan didn't find a pass or even cut one back to the overlapping wing back.
More live football coming your way Easter weekend. We've got 11 commentaries across the FA Cup quarter-finals and the EFL, including exclusive national radio commentary of Manchester City, Liverpool in the FA Cup quarters Saturday lunchtime. The build-up at 11 for a 12:45 kickoff on Saturday. Join us in Manchester for that. Arsenal still searching the treble. They go to Southampton. Chelsea at home to Port Vale. We've got it all covered for you on the Talksport network on Saturday, and then Sunday it's Leeds visit to West Ham. Japan in possession here. Go back to the edge of their own penalty area for Taniguchi. He's played it out towards Kamada. Palace man works it back again. Still England restricted with a number of opportunities they are creating, which is an underlying theme really of this week as far as they've been concerned. Elliot Anderson's got it now though for England, trying to send Rodgers wide of the centre half Ito this time, but he couldn't, and now it's the other Ito playing at right wing back, gets it down towards Doan. Doan controlling the ball 5 yards in from the right hand touchline. Junior Ito taking over again. That creates space for Mitoma to find Doan. Now Ito's got past his man. He's inside the penalty area. Pickford's come out, got himself stranded. Better cross, and England with 2 down. It was too high when it came in, and England were able to get ahead to it and knock it away, and then Kobbie Mainoo slams it to the safety of the touchline.
Well, the more this game goes on, the more of a leveller it's looking, and managing expectation for the summer. I've got to say, some outstanding play once again by the Japanese, cutting through England's backline. And fortunately for England, there was no one centre of the goal that could get their head on it.
The World Cup playoffs, Italy down to 10 members, still leading in Bosnia by a goal to 0. Sweden ahead, the Czechs ahead as well. Another ball play towards the edge of the penalty area. Chance for Junior Ito to take a touch, but his right-footed shot is then blocked, and Pickford sprints out of his penalty area to the left-hand touchline, controls the ball and hits it forward looking for Gordon. I mean, England weren't great in the first half, but there's been no discernible improvement at all since the break. You can argue that they've gone into their shell a little bit more. There's just no cohesion from them as an attacking force whatsoever.
No, as I say, there's cohesion in the middle of the field in a possession game, but you're not playing those forward passes as quickly as possible. There's no runners in behind breaking the back line up. We've got one here with Foden, but just miscontrols it. And that is the difference between the two teams. You know, Japan identify when they can play through England and do it very quickly. We are a little bit slow and dogmatic with our build.
Gordon trying to take on Doan, has nudged it one side of him, ran the other, and Doan slides it out of play for another corner. He came off the bench to score against both Germany and Spain in the last World Cup. The Eintracht Frankfurt player. He's conceded a corner here, which is England's 5th of the night, 2nd of this second half. Still trailing by a goal to 0. Lucky it's not more. They've twice allowed Japan to get themselves into really good positions in the second half so far. No Rice or Saka to take these set pieces. It's Anthony Gordon that sends it in, and again Suzuki comes to meet it. Looked as though it was an easy catch, but he's elected instead to paddle it away. And going to go down and out for a cheap corner that England will get on the right flank this time.
Yeah, we just put too much loft on some of these, and it's just encouraging the goalkeeper to come and get them and take them. I think there's a bit of movement on that bench in front of us at this moment in time, and something needs to change, as you rightly pointed out, Jim.
Yeah, could well be 4 England changes. Another corner, plenty of air underneath this one. Swept in and headed just wide. It was Ezri Konsa. Came to meet it, threw his head at it, and he's unlucky that he just couldn't quite divert it goal bound. He's put it about a yard wide of the left-hand post. 1-0 Japan. Now, a couple of hugely significant goals in the World Cup playoffs. Poland with a second equaliser of the night, 2-2 in Sweden, and Turkey leading Kosovo by a goal to nil. Looking for only their second World Cup appearance since 1954. They got to the semis, and the last one was back in 2002. Kosovo have never reached a major tournament, and they've got work to do. They're trailing at home to Turkey by a goal, and if Turkey go through, they're in a group with the States, Australia and Paraguay. Here's Doan, right hand side, play down to the right hand touchline again. Kamada just protecting the ball, letting it run back for Doan. Now Watanabe back to his goalkeeper. Taniguchi showing forward on the left hand side of the penalty area, but Sion Suzuki launches it long instead. Now we're going to see Lewis Hall come on for England in a moment. Jared Bowen is going to get some minutes. So too Dom Solanke and Tino Livramento. That's the quartet of England players who are about to be introduced. England coming forward outside the penalty area, get to the edge of the centre circle, but there's just no craft in the ball from Mainu as it drifts over Gordon's head and goes out of play for a throw on the Japanese right. And with 13 minutes played in the second half, that's the cue for a whole raft of changes then that England are going to make. So the players that are coming off are going to be Palmer, O'Reilly, White and Foden. So White and O'Reilly the fullbacks, Foden and Cole Palmer the players that are coming off, and coming on Hall and Livramento, two Newcastle fullbacks, Jared Bowen and also Dom Solanke. So it'll be a different way of attacking this from England in the half hour or so that remains. A few more boosts for Ben White as he leaves the field. Well, the other night, I didn't hear. There were a few more boos than he got tonight, but still some tonight. So 4 changes being made, and Dom Solanke leading the line sheet.
Yeah, I think having a more natural centre forward, even though I'd like to see Gordon up there, but a more natural centre forward. I think it also brings Rodgers into a better position for him, and as I say, we've got Bowen still offering that width on that right hand side. So I think wise changes, I would say, and both fullbacks coming off can have the ability to get forward.
Gahey trying to control the ball. It ended up, as it ran away from him, being a wrestling match against Kaoru Mitoma, and the free kicks being given to Japan. Well, we'll talk about it in the debrief, and don't forget the Talksport Daily podcast coming your way from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning as we reflect on all things England from here at Wembley. But just wonder whether we've seen the end of Phil Foden in an England shirt for a while. His 49th cap tonight, 22 without a goal for his country now. Didn't rip it up in midfield the other night, and he hasn't as a number 9 tonight. Here's Solanke making his way forward. Rodgers couldn't play him in. He had Bowen to his right hand side as well, but split the difference between the pair of them. Kamada can bring it away for Japan, works it down the left hand touchline where England have to retreat quickly. Anderson trying to get back in behind Tino Livramento, and that forced Japan to go back. Watanabe's got it now inside his own half, takes a touch, side footed forward towards the Doan. Sliding challenge from Mark Gahey, who came a long way to meet it, the England captain, and won it very cleanly. Ito played forward towards halfway. Elliot Anderson sticks his foot on the ball and can guide it forward here for Mainu.
This is a situation we've had, as I say, Japan trying to play through. When we do turn the ball over, everything slows down, it goes backwards and sideways, and we really need to take a leaf out of the Japanese book here that literally go after us as soon as we give it away in poor areas.
Here's Anthony Gordon, across the edge of the penalty area, out for Tino Livramento. Livramento's got Rodgers ahead of him, just checks and plays the ball back instead towards Anderson. Reluctance from England to get the ball into the congested penalty area at times, looking to try and pick out the perfect pass. rather than the most immediate one. Here's Rogers now. And it's too close to the goalkeeper as he works it through the 6-yard box. He couldn't find Solanke. 1-0 Japan, 17 minutes into the second half on Talksport.
Yeah, and as I say, we just need to raise the tempo of what we're doing, raise the direction of pass and the forward pass a little bit quicker. We get caught in midfield. Better ball there by Anderson.
And then Rogers, having received it, was under immediate pressure and just passed it straight to Ito. A long ball forward from the Japanese, mopped up with a minimum of fuss from Mark Gahey. And he'll be able to play it forward. England have only been 1-0 down on rare occasions. Only happened once at all last season. It was a game that they lost to Senegal, the only defeat that they've had so far. And Thomas Tuchel, whose record is 9-1-1. Moriyasu, the Japanese coach, who took over immediately after the 2018 World Cup. He's won nearly 4 times as many games as he's lost in his 100-plus matches in charge. England get the ball forward now down the right-hand side. Bowen's made a really well-timed run. And he drifts inside the penalty area. The angle is still tight. He's got 4 white shirts to try and pick out. Eventually Japan can get it away. Comes back outside the box again. Livramento to Rogers, who takes over, and he's fouled. 2 yards outside the penalty area, right of centre, in a good position here for an England set piece.
You could not place that better for a left footer where it is at this moment in time. Cole Palmer's thinking, I wish I was still on the pitch, to be quite honest with you, but much better from England. Ball in behind, 2 runners offering themselves in behind, and it was Bowen who got on it.
Even see all your eyes light up, rolling back the years. Man, this is just about position A for you.
You couldn't place it better, Jim.
So it's just outside the D, to the right-hand side of the D, and it is 2 yards outside the box. Maybe not even that. Probably near a 4 foot outside the penalty area.
Looks to me like Rogers, I think.
He's the one that has spotted the ball down. Jared Bowen taking what might be more than a watching brief as well, but you would imagine this is going to be Morgan Rogers. 3, 4 very deliberate steps back from the ball. A couple of breaths out, hits it right-footed straight into the contingent of Japanese defenders. There were 5 strong in that wall, and he just couldn't get it over the quintet. They've been able to beat it away, and it goes out of play for a throw.
Sorry, Jim, I think it's too tight to the goal where it was for a right footer. I really do. The only way you're going to score with a right footer is if you're outstanding at getting it up and down. Alternatively, you go goalkeeper's side. And for me, that's a left footer all day long.
So a couple of changes to be made by Japan. And that will give us the opportunity to find out what's going on in the game at Everton. Here's Matt Jones.
Coast 1, Scotland 0, although Scotland have just had a big chance. A corner coming into the near post. Sutar flicked it on and it was cleared off the line. A few seconds later the ball came back to him and he managed to blaze over. Both sides have made a number of changes. Amad Diallo coming on for Ivory Coast. He got a few boos from some of the locals here. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0.
And we'll get the latest from Wales, Northern Ireland. Presently it's still 1-1. Changes have been made, and Seko and Ogawa, the players that have come on for Japan. England in possession, but from that throw have gone all the way back from the right flank near the edge of the penalty area to the centre circle. So as Mark Gahey picks it up, every outfield player is between him and the Japanese goal. Played forward again towards Jared Bowen, who's just having his shirt pulled as he controlled that. Mainu takes it between the lines, trying to get it away from the recently arrived Ogawa. Slipping it into the feet of Morgan Rogers near the edge of the penalty area, but it was clear. Lewis Hall then wins it back and has done well just to duck away from the subsequent challenge that came in on him. Play back for Mainu. Anderson, though, going out to the England right-hand side for Jared Bowen. Bowen has just tried to get himself in a little battle of pace there with the left wing-back. He dropped his shoulder, trying to take on Nakamura, but he overhit the ball. And it's gone straight out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken away to our left. We'll go to Cardiff, Wales, Northern Ireland. Here's Talksport's Lawrence Moran.
Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1, 68 gone at one end. We've had a great chance for Nico Williams. Pierce Charles having to throw himself across goal to block his free kick. And then at the other end, Owen Toll forcing an incredible diving one-handed save from Carl Darlow to keep the scores level. 68 gone, Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1.
So just a little bit of housekeeping. The two Japanese changes, Seko on for Junya Ito and Agawa on for Ueda up front. England pushing forward again. The possession that they've had in the last 10 minutes has been in better areas. They've looked sharper for having made those 4 changes. Solanke, little back heel flick inside the penalty area here for Morgan Rogers, and then Hall definitely flicked one in towards the near post. Seeing that the goalkeeper was gambling on a cross, and he's just trying to embarrass him by sticking it in between his right hand and his right hand post, but the keeper read it and reacted in time.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's effort at goal there or whether he's got no curl on the cross. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt on that occasion. Just get the impression that England have just realised the magnitude of the scoreline at the moment, just getting on the front foot slightly.
What do you want to see more of, though?
Just forward passes and runs in behind, to be quite honest with you, Jim. I think that's the one thing up until probably now in the substitutions that we've lacked. We've looked to keep possession of the ball in the mid-band, which is all well and good, but the idea is to keep it out of one end and put it in the other.
More changes imminent. Remember, England, although they've only got 3 separate junctions to make them, can make 11. We're going to be seeing another couple of players brought on very shortly. Rashford is down there, and so too Ghana. Japan bringing forward again. Kamada. The danger man Nakamura, the left wing back, taking on Livramento. Checks back inside, goes for goal, and he was inches away. And the 7,000 travelling Japanese supporters who are up on their feet, they thought that was going to curve in. Little kiss off the inside of Bigfoot's post, but it just went the other side, and England survive.
Are you telling me Nakamura's playing in the 2nd division in France, did you say?
Not for long.
Well, certainly on what I'm seeing, he's worth a mention. I think he's been outstanding in sort of both halves, really. You know, he's defended well defensively when he's had to, and he's certainly got a trick in the advanced area.
Here's the drinks break for the second half. Another chance for Thomas Tuchel to get his players around him. We're going to be seeing Ghana. We're going to be seeing Rashford as well. Is Ghana one of those players that has had a good night tonight without having been on the field so far?
Well, that's probably been the case over the 2 games, isn't it? You know what I mean? The players that haven't played have probably gone up in estimations, and the ones who have probably not done themselves a real service. But listen, I would have liked to see Ghana on at least for 45 minutes to back up what he'd done the other night.
Well, these 2 changes will be made very shortly. Ghana coming on, Rashford will come on as well. And that means that all the players in this squad, Dan Burn is the only one that hasn't seen any action so far. So, do you read anything into that, I wonder, for his place on the play? Is he going to be usurped by Harry Maguire? It's the latest scores in the World Cup playoffs. Bosnia 0, 10-man Italy 1. Bastoni with the red card just before half-time, but Italy at the moment hanging on there. The Czechs leading Denmark 1-0. Turkey a goal up in Kosovo, and it's Sweden 2, Poland 2. So those are the latest scores in friendlies. As we've been telling you, Wales against Northern Ireland is 1-1. Ireland 0-0 with North Macedonia. The Dutch being held at home by Ecuador at the moment. They're down to 10 men as well, after Denzel Dumfries was sent off really early. And Spain, 8 minutes into the second half of an 8 o'clock kickoff, being held at home by Egypt. It's 0-0. So Japan making changes as well. Junsuke Suzuki is now on. It's going to be a goal kick which will be taken by England away to our right hand side. 16 minutes to go. I think that the general consensus is that Marcus Rashford is definitely one that is going to be making the squad. It's hard to see him being omitted. Solanke tries to flick the ball onto Rashford here, who immediately has after the Goalkeeper Suzuki as it's worked forward. Japan clear down towards Lewis Hall. Now England have it again in the midfield with Garner. Garner to Rashford. Rashford back for James Garner again. Garner side footing the ball to his right. Denmark back in their game out in Prague. 1-1 between the Czechs and Denmark. So the most significant moment of the night still lies ahead in that game in terms of World Cup qualification. Garner receiving the ball deep, turning and working it down towards Lewis Hall. Hall to Rashford, wins a throw on the England left. It's 1-0 to Japan with 18 minutes to go. Are they about to become the first Asian nation ever to beat England in an international?
Well, they've certainly played well enough this evening, there's no doubt about that. And England have got their work cut out to break them down, but need to up the tempo slightly if we're going to do so.
Those England changes, Garner and Rashford coming on, Mainu and Gordon are the players that made way, and Suzuki came on for Mitoma, and Tanaka of Leeds for Doan. Double change for Japan. So England still with 5 changes left at their disposal, but they're going to have to make them all in one go. 17 minutes to go. Rashford plays the ball forward and it's knocked away. They now concentrated in the half of the field away to our left that the Japanese are defending. Still not too many signs of an imminent breakthrough, unlike at Wealdstone, who now lead Hartlepool 6-0 in that National League game.
I think I've gone to the wrong game tonight, Jim, I really do.
Yeah, none taken. The ball is with Anderson out on the England right. Anderson can play it in towards Morgan Rogers. Gahey. Rashford in space, Hall in space. It's the blonde-haired Newcastle defender that finds Rashford. Nice shape on that ball in, which forced the retreating Taniguchi to awkwardly head away. England another opportunity to deliver. Rashford again with good service in towards Lewis Hall. Left-footed ball. That's a peach. Clipped towards the far post, but just headed away in the nick of time by the retreating Suzuki. And Japan will clear towards halfway. England slowly warming to their task here with a little over 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, some good combinations on the left with Hall and Rashford, and there's been a couple of crosses in the game where you thought, you know, Harry Kane's eyes would have lit up with a couple of these balls that have been played in the air across the face of the 6-yard box.
Harry Kane here today, but not in a position to feature as a precaution because of injury. Here's Hall, back for Garner. And then given away by Rashford. Probably his first mistake since coming on, but no harm done because Gahey will run round it and pick it up inside his own half. I'll give you the answer to the trivia question very shortly. We asked you who are the last 10 men to score for England whilst they were Arsenal players, and the guys got the 5 that have done it this season very easily. The other ones, some of the other ones, proving a little bit more difficult. Give you the answer in a moment. Mark Gahey's in possession for England inside the centre circle. Has played it down towards Rashford. And Rashford tried to take it on. Wins a throw off the retreating Junya Ito.
They put Nakamura over this side of the pitch. I don't know whether that's to nullify the threat of Rashford, or whether it's just a tactical scenario.
And from left wing back to right inside forward now as Hall makes his way forward. It's a well-timed sliding challenge, puts it out. The Scottish referee Walsh indicates that it's a throw to England down by the corner flag and nothing more. Rashford goes and retrieves the ball, leaves it for Hall. A little bit more urgency about the England restart than some of those we saw in the first half, but the throw was very poorly executed. And it's easily cleared by Junya Ito. One back by England on their left flank with Lewis Hall. Garner's got it. 20 outside the penalty area. Anderson coming forward in support. Livramento supplies the width on the England right, and it's sprayed out in his direction now. Jarrod Bowen ahead of him, gets it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Diving headed clearance from Taniguchi got it away. Then Anderson strides forward onto the loose ball. He's gone down inside the penalty area. VAR might have a look at that. At the moment, England have a corner with a right-footed ball that came in from Livramento that deflects away.
Yeah, poor giveaway. No, I'm not seeing it. I don't think there was enough contact there, personally. An opportunity for England to pop a cross in. if anyone's going to go out there and actually take it.
Well, it would help. And eventually, Jarrod Bowen does. So Rashford's inside the 6-yard box. Rodgers hands on hips just outside it. And then Gahey stands by the penalty spot. Again, trying to make his run in from deep. It's in towards the near post with more venom that time and a little bit more swerve. It was a better delivery. Cleared. Back in from Anderson. Headed back from Rodgers. Rashford right-footed. Goalkeeper got his hands behind and saved it. And then on the follow-up on the turn, the effort goes wide from Jarrod Bowen. Better from England, but he's taken 77 minutes to provide anything as much as a skirmish inside that Japanese box.
Yeah, it certainly has. So we're playing with a bit better tempo now. We've realised we're losing the game and we've got to go after the opposition. And the personnel we're getting, look at the amount of players, 6-7 players in the box on that occasion. Flip that to the first half, and when the ball's out wide, we had 1-2 if we're lucky.
So let's give you the answer to that trivia question. The last 10 men to score for England whilst they were Arsenal players, White, Saka, Eze, Madueke and Rice have all done it this season. And the other 5, Smith Rowe, Welbeck, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Walcott and Wilshere. So
Wilshere?
Jack Wilshere, absolutely. So those, your 10. Japan going to be making more changes. At least another 3 are imminent. England bring it forward. 12 minutes to go. Remember, both goals were after this the other night. Rashford finding Lewis Hall. Hall to Ghana. Hardly had to look away to our right-hand side in this second half because all of the players been in front of us. But England just not making the most of it. Japan defending really well. Now the ball inside the penalty area bounces from Livramento's delivery before it can find a white shirt, and it was hooked away by Ito. England will come again with Hall. Marcus Rashford ahead of him. Rashford waiting. The pass was telegraphed somewhat and was easily mopped up by the Japanese midfield. And Nakamura getting it back to his centre half who could clear. So they're going to be bringing on Sugawara, the former Southampton player, another one of the Suzukis, Yuito Suzuki and Machino, the 3 that are going to be coming on, and numbers 2, 8 and 9 coming on now. First man coming off is Daishi Kamada. Sugawara coming on for him. They're also going to be taking Junya Ito off, and the 4th official just adjusting the numbers board to show us who the last Japanese player to make way. It's the impressive Nakamura, who I'm guessing is going to be playing his club football for Grams for too long. He's got a really good goal scoring record for Japan, 10 in 23 from wing back. And as we've mentioned a few times, finds himself playing in the French second division. But he'll be on many people's list. Dan Burn getting ready, is going to get a few minutes by the look of it. He's just getting a few instructions down beneath us. They'll be coming on. Japan have made their changes. Their goalkeeper Suzuki, one of 3 Suzukis on the field now, launches it forward down the right hand side, and it's straight out of play for a throw that'll be taken in the England left back position. If this ends 1-0, there's going to be plenty of conjecture about the ramifications that there will be for England in the World Cup. If it ends 1-1, I don't know really that it's going to paper over too many cracks. Anderson's giving it away. Japan pressing high, won it back. Kamada to his right hand side, lost it. Doan also loses it, and an opportunity now for England to be able to bring it away. Hall quickly put under pressure by 2 in dark blue shirts. Did really well to retain possession. He's gone back for Ghana. Ghana to Anderson. Anderson coming through the heart of midfield. Morgan Rogers, who had a lively 10 minutes but followed by a quiet one. He's got it now. A couple of pirouettes. One good turn deserves another, and he was able to work it out towards the England right hand side for Livramento. Down for Hall again. Hall to Rashford. Rashford, the ball into feet on the edge of the penalty area. Comes down for Ghana. England level the edge of the box, but attacking with a little bit more purpose now. Hall trying to get it back from Rashford's flick, and the sliding challenge from the recently arrived Sugawara puts it out of play for an England corner. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, I think England, I can see them building up a bit of pressure here, and I've got a feeling England are going to get an equaliser, but I'll back up that comment you made. It probably doesn't, tell the whole story in many ways. England have found it very, very tough tonight, and the pace in which certainly early on in the game that we played the game wasn't sufficient enough to test the Japanese backline.
And so a swap at centre half. Konsa and Geihi off, and Maguire and Byrne the players that come on, and Harry Maguire has the armband. Certainly would have been moments in the relatively recent past that Harry Maguire would never think he'd have the England captain's armband on again. So Maguire in there to attack this corner. Jarrod Bowen's going to take it. I don't think the ball is correctly spotted down, actually, but it's not that the officials are complaining about. They're not happy with some of the pushing and shoving going on the edge of the six. It's still going on, and Dan Byrne is heavily involved in that.
We've got Byrne and Maguire, and now we should have certainly more of a threat from these set plays.
So England trying to take the aerial bombardment route with 7 minutes to go. Bowen, plenty of air underneath it, in towards Maguire. Good save by the goalkeeper. Harry nearly scored with his first touch. Powerful header. Suzuki beats it away. Another ball comes back in, and Bowen attacking that, but the far post wins another corner.
Yeah, really good play there. Decent ball in, and Maguire, as you would expect, won the header. Goalkeeper done extremely well with a lot of traffic in front of him to get a parry away.
Jarrod Bowen had taken another corner. It was about this stage the other night that England scored their goal from a set piece. The 10th out of the last 18 goals they've scored that's come from a set piece. Maguire's name being sung by the England supporters. Jarrod Bowen charged with trying to find him again. Now the right arm comes up, hits it left-footed, swerved in towards the edge of the 6-yard box off a Japanese head to get it away. Comes back from Hall. Hall's ball back for Bowen. Can England get a second ball in? Lewis Hall just got himself back into an onside position. He's poked it forward towards Rashford. Sugawara should be able to get it away. He can. Forward towards halfway. Full-time whistle has gone at Hill Dickinson. And here's Talksport's Matt Jones.
And another disappointing game for Scotland before the World Cup. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0. The goal coming in the first half. Scotland were really flat-footed as Wahi's original shot hit the post and bounced back to Pepe, who bundled home from close range. They did have their chances. McTominay had one saved in the first half, and there were a couple of close efforts in the second. But other than that, pretty disappointing for the Scots, and there were some boos at the full-time whistle as well. Ivory Coast 1, Scotland 0.
As England bring it forward again, trailing 1-0 here at Wembley. Morgan Rogers, level with the edge of the penalty area. He's just gone back behind Jarrod Bowen. Maguire's got it now. Maguire down to the England left-hand side for Lewis Hall. Hall to Rashford, back for Byrne. Byrne, the deepest of England's outfield players, is still 20 yards inside the Japanese half. Rashford sends an aerial ball spiralling out towards the England right-hand side. They're going to be rewarded for their second half persistence here. Get another ball inside the penalty area, and again deflected away off a Japanese defender. Puts it out of play for a corner. It was Junsuke Suzuki. And England's corner count goes up into double figures, but can they make one count? Garner across to take this. England looking for an equaliser with 5 to go.
I've got a feeling England will find a way through to breach this back line now. They're under a bit of pressure. The big boys are on at this moment in time, and hopefully we can find a decent delivery from Ghana.
Ghana's got a good record for providing assists from set pieces for Everton. One of the very best in the Premier League at it. His delivery in towards the corner of the 6-yard box, and Harry Maguire was stooping, and it's come off the top of his head. I don't think he thought he was going to get there. It's hit Maguire, really, and gone wide. Now to play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Sion Suzuki. Well, there's going to be so much made of this England performance, of the team selection, of where they stand with only 11 weeks to go until the World Cup starts. A quick word about Japan. I think they've impressed, and we were expecting that they would. And they've only lost 2 of the last 23 games, but they have been good.
Yeah, I've got to say, you outlined how good they might be tonight, and they've certainly not disappointed in that respect. You know, they played some really good football, played out through the England press really, really solidly, sensible football, and they've certainly been worth their lead in this game, that is for sure. And you mentioned you thought they'd have a right tilt this summer, and there's nothing that my eyes have told me to disprove that.
Well, England fans will be frustrated. Italian fans will be a lot more frustrated. Haven't been to the last 2 World Cups, they might not be going to this one, as Bosnia and Herzegovina have equalised against the 10 men. Tabakovic with the goal. It's 1-1 in the final 10 minutes of that game in Zenica. Italy down to 10 men. England with Maguire finding Bowen. Bowen trying to hook it back in, and hasn't quite gone out of play for a corner. Must have been a close run thing. Suzuki was able to clear his lines before it did, and in fact he flicked it into Bowen and out of play. So Bosnia and Herzegovina 1, 10-man Italy 1. The Czechs 1, Denmark 1. Sweden 2, Poland 2. They're all heading to extra time as things stand right now. Turkey going through. They lead in Kosovo by a goal to nil. A mate of mine who's Turkey's telling me yesterday that he thinks that if they qualify, and he wasn't sure they would, he said if we qualify, we'll definitely win the group. They're up against the USA, Australia and Paraguay, and he's confident. Rodgers inside the penalty area. As an England player goes down, it was an exaggerated fall. Certainly no suggestion that it should be a penalty, but it is another corner. They're racking up. England have had a dozen now. Desperately looking to try and make one pay as we go into the 89th minute. And England only a matter of minutes away from losing to Japan, indeed any Asian nation, for the first time in their history.
Yeah, I think England need to get someone in front of the goalkeeper to stop him coming off his line. And then we've got enough ability in the air to get efforts at goal.
Here's Maguire heading it down. And it's half cleared. Lewis Hall through a crowd, and goalkeeper did well. Suzuki dived down to his right. Strong right hand to it. Beats it away for another corner.
Yeah, England on power play at the moment. Got the numbers in the box and a great strike through the legs. Goalkeeper's done extremely well, Suzuki, to get a hand on that.
Victor Gyökeres has scored for Sweden. It's nice that Arsenal have had a player who has been able to play an international this week. Sweden 3, Poland 2. In comes his latest corner, headed towards goal again, half cleared and then lashed over the bar by the frustrated Rodgers.
Was that class as number 11 Arsenal goal scorers?
Yeah, if he was English, absolutely would. Sweden 3, Poland 2. And Morgan Rodgers will be really frustrated there that he couldn't hit the target, and it looks like being one of those nights. So Sweden on the verge of going through, so too Turkey. The Czechs against Denmark and the Bosnians against Italy, both heading for extra time. Hall heads the ball away. Sano over the top, but not over the top of Byrne, who was able to guide a header back for Jordan Pickford. A 7th for Wealdstone at home to Hartlepool in the National League. 4 minutes of added time, and England need to score in it to avoid losing their last game on home soil before the World Cup. Ball's out of play for a Japanese throw. Sugawara immediately, having had the ball thrown to him to restart play, takes a swig of water, and the referee tells him to get on with it. His idea of getting on with it is to throw the ball to a teammate off the field before the throw can be taken. Thomas Tuchel making the point that really was time wasting in extremis. Dan Burn through the centre circle for Tino Livramento. Back for Harry Maguire. Maguire sends a raking ball out towards Lewis Hall on the England left-hand side. Clever back heel flick from him, but although the intention was good, Garner couldn't get there. Byrne stabbing it back. There was a poor pass from Byrne towards Anderson, who meant that Anderson's next touch forced to be a tackle, and he's given a free kick away, and Japan are very nearly there. They've got 3 minutes to navigate to get a famous win at Wembley, the first in their history.
Well, I've got to say they've been very impressive tonight, and they probably deserved their victory. I've got to say England, yes, they put some pressure on. They're late on with balls in the box with the two big boys, certainly Maguire and Byrne, getting on the end of things. But their fan base, I don't think I've ever seen so many away fans at Wembley for a long time. Incredible.
Yeah, 7,500 have filled a crowd of about 78,000 tonight. They are ecstatic. They've been in fine voice. Sea of blue shirts with Japanese flags being proudly waved. A yellow card shown for time wasting to one of the Japanese players. The latest delayed restart. Ball played forward to the substitute Machino down by the corner flag. He thought he'd won a corner. It is in fact a throw to England, which Lewis Hall will take. Ball arches the back, launches it forward, and it's gone, I think, straight out of play. It must have bounced right on the touchline. Play then continues. And England get a free kick as Anderson picked up the ball. He's going to leave it for Jordan Pickford. It's going to be very, very late for England if they're able to salvage something here. We're in the 3rd minute of the 4 added. Rashford on the England left. It was Watanabe, incidentally, that picked up that yellow card for the time waster. Back he goes from Rashford. Poor ball from Rashford back towards Anderson, and then a really poor challenge that came in on him.
I've got to say, Jim, we've got less than 2 minutes to go of this game. We've got a free kick in the mid-band of our half, and Pickford plays short, and it fizzles out to a free kick.
Not great match management from England. So this might be the last chance. Garner standing over this free kick. Zagawa got booked for his challenge on Anderson. Now or never for England. Sent in by Garner, and straight to the hands of Suzuki. It's going to be never. Maguire challenging for it, but stood no chance of being able to get there. And England are going to be beaten by Asian opposition for the first time in their history. Ball bowled out by Zion Suzuki. Out to the left flank. Laid back again for Seko. Seko to Suzuki. Only seconds to go. Right-footed ball through the midfield. Bypasses everybody. Through to Jordan Pickford. Don't forget your chance to react to everything you've heard tonight. An England defeat incoming. And the Sports Bar taking your calls on 03717 223344. Maguire still forward. Pickford tries to find him. Headed on and away by the Japanese back line. And that is that. And it's victory for Japan. And England are booed off. A really inauspicious pair of games in March. Hardly the ideal preparation for the World Cup. Now, 2 years ago in 2024, the March games went badly and England made it through to the final of the tournament. But on the strength of what we've seen on Friday and tonight, you just can't make a case that that could happen again. Wholesale improvement is necessary. And yes, there are mitigating circumstances in terms of the quality of teams that Thomas Tuchel was able to field. And the starting 11 that he's put out for the game against Croatia on June the 17th in Arlington will be better than either of the ones that we've seen this week. But the performances have to be much, much better too. They say that a poor dress rehearsal can often make for a great performance. Boy, does it have to. England 0, Japan 1.
That was terrible. Japan enjoyed it and they were pretty decent actually. Good luck to them at the World Cup, but England have got some serious work to do. Thomas Tuchel has shown us nothing in terms of international credentials in these March friendlies. We'll dissect it with Stuart Pearce very shortly, but that's the first time since the Euros England have failed to score in an international. Not great timing. England, I blame Mikel Arteta. I'm only joking. Let's get the full time elsewhere. We know that Scotland lost in their friendly as well to Ivory Coast at Everton. That finished 1-0. What about the game in Cardiff tonight? Lawrence Moore.
Yeah, it finished Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1, and considering this was the heartbreak friendly, both teams served up a committed, good tempo game with chances, saves and some pretty agricultural challenges as well. Wales were disappointing first half, the visitors going in deservedly a goal up. It was Spurs striker Jamie Donnelly on loan at Oxford who opened the scoring, tapping home from close range after his original header had bounced off the post. Within a minute of the second half, Craig Bellamy's words ringing in their ears, Wales were level. David Brooks driving at the heart of the visitors' defence, his shot defeated deflecting into the path of Sorba Thomas, who controlled and then again tapped home from close range. After that, we saw Carl Darlow, the Wales goalkeeper, pull off a stunning save from Owen Toll's header, and at the other end, almost a collector item, Harry Wilson whipping a right foot shot, first time which shaved the far post. No World Cup, no winner tonight, but fair play to both sets of players. Finished in Cardiff, Wales 1, Northern Ireland 1.
And we'll bring you details of who's going to the World Cup from those playoffs as and when. But as we know, a couple of them are level going into injury time. Bosnia 1, Italy 1. Italy with 10 men. Czechia 1, Denmark 1. Turkey 1 up in Kosovo. And Sweden leading Poland 3-2. Winners go to the World Cup. But the boos would have been louder here at Wembley, but pretty much half the fans had left long before the final whistle. The players are going round applauding the fans, but there's not many fans left to applaud them back. Listen, they made it to the World Cup, but that's a bare minimum. That's not really a test of England. It's not really a test of Tuchel either. He's been given this big new contract, and yet we're going to a World Cup with very little hope that we're going to win it. Stuart Pearce, I mean, how do you sum up what was wrong for England tonight? They've conceded a goal with some poor play, losing the ball cheaply in midfield. They're not defending properly. And you could say it was a good goal, but there's things wrong with it from an England point of view. And attacking-wise, we ended up just chucking corners into the box. That's not really good enough.
No, well, to be fair, I think the first half performance is the first starting point to analyse it. I think that there's been talk of Phil Foden as a deep-lying number 9. I've never been in favour of it, which I've expressed to you from the offset when it was first muted, and I've seen nothing with my eyes to suggest that worked tonight in many ways. I don't think two sides of it didn't work. That probably we didn't have enough players in the box when the ball come in eventually, and secondly, I'm not sure both Phil and Cole Palmer are particularly good at pressing the opposition. So Japan, whilst they were particularly good at it, they played through us quite comfortably and set the tempo of the game. Japan showed us what we needed to do slightly better, play with a higher revs, higher tempo, and probably be more forceful in going, and on turnover especially, go after the opposition with forward passes. And if you want to know what that looks like, have a look at the Japanese goal tonight. It was outstanding. Economy of touches, let's say, but they cut England open brilliantly. It was a wonderful goal. It weren't a 50-yard goal into the top corner, but I'll tell you what, if Brian Clough's looking down now, that's how he wanted a goal scored.
Well, what they did was, before that goal, Stuart, what they did was they got hold of the ball in the middle of the park and they're straight away head up looking for the right pass. There's movement in front of them, movement into good areas, attacking areas. They're not looking sideways and backwards. They're looking to go forward because England have been caught out. They've been caught on the ball and they haven't got players back. So they absolutely went for us and they got rewarded. At times when you talked about the Pickford free kick at the end going short. I mean, we're 1-0 down. This is a test for us in a World Cup. If you're 1-0 down in a knockout game, are you going to go short with that free kick? Why do it now?
Well, our best opportunity of scoring come in probably the last 10 or 15 minutes when Maguire and Byrne come on and we put the ball in the box and we had a few skirmishes. And aside from that, we couldn't play them down. We had a few decent crosses in from wide areas, but because we didn't have a centre forward, a recognised centre forward in there, or bodies in the box, we didn't get on the end of things that we maybe should have done.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at it and say, yeah, Kane's going to come in. There's the opportunity to bring back Saka, Rice, Bellingham. There's players who could come in and will come into the starting 11. I get that. But Thomas Tuchel is taking us to a place now where we're not getting the best out of our flair players, our number 10s, if you like, our wide players. And actually, the best chance of scoring on the night was with big lumps up front, Maguire and Burns. So this elite manager we've got, what's he bringing to England? I don't get it.
Well, I think if there was an exercise tonight on having a look, will this work, will that work, I think a couple of questions have been answered. I don't think you can play Phil Foden as a deep-line centre-forward or two dropped-off centre-forwards in Palmer and Foden as it was tonight, because you're not, when it does go through them and out wide, we just didn't have bodies in the box, and you need to have at least equal numbers arriving in the box, if not an overload of some description. But to do that, you've got to get it wide quickly, you've got to break your neck in getting in the box, and I think those two individuals, are not the type to arrive in the box and get on the end of things. They want to receive defeat outside the box slightly. A lot of questions, there's no doubt about that. I said to you, wait till tonight before we judge Friday, and you know, on Friday night we've managed to get a point out of it, if you like, a draw, but certainly tonight we've ended up getting beaten. So judge the two games as they stand on everything we've seen. We missed some of the players that haven't been involved tonight, but we've certainly been taught the odd lesson as well on how to play forthright and forward.
Yeah, that's key. That I think that is the biggest takeaway, that we had no tempo, there was no pace to us whatsoever, and that needs to improve. Bosnia won, Italy won, they've gone to extra time. Czechia won, Denmark won, they've gone to extra time. Kosovo 0, Turkey won. Turkey are going to the World Cup. Sweden have beaten Poland 3-2. Gyökeres the hero, and Sweden are going to the World Cup. Stuart Pearce's Phil Foden going to the World Cup.
There was question marks coming into these two games. I don't think I've seen a great deal in the two games to suggest he's definitely booked a place on an aeroplane. I think the sad thing for Phil Foden is he's not playing regularly for his club, which counts against him at this moment in time, and he's going to be viewed as a player playing as a number 10, I think, not in the wide areas, as a number 10. And that is the most congested area that England have got an abundance of talent for.
By the time the World Cup starts, Phil Foden will be 26. So by the time the next World Cup comes around, he's going to be 30. This is the peak period. This is the World Cup where he should, bearing in mind the talent he had when he was younger, and he won a junior World Cup, under-17 World Cup, basically won it single-handed. You know, we were 2 down, and he brought us back against Spain to win 5-2. He was absolutely sensational. Playing off the right, I think, that particular game. But that talent, it's shown through at times. A couple of years ago, he's Player of the Year in the Premier League, and you know, undisputed, he was fantastic. But it's come to World Cup time, and he isn't delivering. How many regrets is he going to have, do you think?
I think if he doesn't get in an aeroplane this summer, it'll be a major disappointment for him as a player. There's no doubt about that. You get judged and you say, how many major tournaments have I been to as a player? And then you ask that question. It's the biggest showcase of any footballer in the world. It's the World Cup. So you want to go there. If he gets on the plane, has he the ability to have an impact playing for England at this World Cup? Yes, he has. He's a talented player. But at this moment, he's not showed consistently. I compare him to the likes of Gerrard and Lampard, who probably offered a level of consistency consistently, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, Phil's been Player of the Year, and then he's been on the bench. You know, we need you in the team all the time playing, and you're responsible for being in the team all the time. He doesn't. At Manchester City, Bernardo Silva's never sat on the bench. He plays all the games because the manager trusts him to deliver every single game, and Phil's got to just try and find that level of consistency.
Yeah, but his career at the moment seems to be passing him by. And listen, he's not the only one. I'm not picking on Phil Foden. He didn't play well at all. He was in a false position, if you like, at that false 9. And maybe that's hard for him to represent what he can do. But he's not been great in an England shirt generally. That's 49 caps, 4 goals. And as we said before, you know, 2 of those goals were in his first 3 games. And I'm looking at other players who are supposed to be creative. Cole Palmer wasn't creative tonight. Morgan Rogers, I was so frustrated by him tonight. So Phil Foden's not the only one, Stuart. There's others who, yeah, it's a friendly, and maybe they will do it on the big stage. Who knows? They might grow when they get to the big stage of the World Cup, but they've not given us anything to be optimistic about tonight.
No, that would be fair to say. I think Morgan Rogers was playing on this right-hand side. I don't think that suits him personally. You know, I think he's got to play either on the left or alternatively tucked in slightly. But I think we need a centre forward, and I think it's a missed opportunity tonight, the fact that we haven't had Gordon playing down the middle for at least 45 minutes of that to give us a different option of running in behind and stretching the opposition.
OK, I mean, Harry Kane was here tonight watching the game. Fair play to him for that. He is the captain. I would expect the captain to be here, you know, with his players, even if he's not playing. So he's done that, and that's what a captain should be doing. If he's not fit for the World Cup, England are in big trouble. We definitely need... I mean, there are names on the team sheet. We know Jordan Pickford is going to start. Harry Kane, we can't do anything. It feels like we can't do anything at the World Cup without Harry Kane. He has to be fit for the World Cup.
Of course. I mean, he's an outstanding player, an outstanding goal scorer. And in a game like today, we end up losing the game 1-0. You know full well that he's got a reputation of probably finding a tap-in to probably get us a draw within the game. And that's what Harry Kane does, and he's done consistently. And on top of that as well, you've got to throw Declan Rice's name into the hat as well. That will be a definite starter for England that would have an impact in the game. So the two games, I think, maybe have thrown up more questions than answers in many ways. The answers that we've got are probably more negative answers that have ruled out certain things. Yeah,
more negatives than positives, I think, from the two games. But let's have a look at what might be positives. We said at half-time, Elliot Anderson and Nico O'Reilly have played well. O'Reilly got done by a long diagonal again in that left-back position. Elliot Anderson, I thought, faded a little bit second half, but showed enough first half. Rashford, when he came on, was okay. Hall linked up better with Rashford than he did with Gordon, which is bizarre, bearing in mind they train and play together at Newcastle. Hall and Gordon. One or two positives, but I'm clutching a little bit, Stuart.
Yeah, as I say, we look much better at the end of the game, where the game and the scoreline said to us that we have to go forward and be more forthright. I think we need to pick up those key messages probably when the game's 0-0 maybe. The games start and we keep possession and we look really good, and in the mid-band of the pitch it was a brilliant game of possession for England, and then all of a sudden Japan cut through us and you think, whoa, hang on a minute, maybe that's the cutting edge that we need to develop a little bit more. And I look at the manager down there on the technical area, and we, at the World Cup, need a set of eyes permanently on Tuchel, because his body language tells you exactly what the players should do and what he wants from the players.
What did you see from him then on the touchline?
I just see the frustration. He's pointing at forward passes. This, similar sort of probably what I'm seeing. Why slow it down when you can go forward with a pass, Why have you checked out? I see his body language and a little bit of shrugging in certain areas. That tells me he wants that ball played forward and wide and more energetic and up the tempo of the game. When we had the conversation with him after the Senegal game, that was one of his frustrations, and we improved on it, but I think he wants England to play more like England can play, if you like.
Yeah, and is that the players? I mean, you've been in this from a player's point of view. You've been a manager as well. You've led England as a manager for one game. Is this players not listening to what he's saying, or they're just not following his instructions? What's going on there?
No, I think it's more players making decisions. This is beyond the manager. It's like the throw-in down there in the corner flag,
The one where Gordon left it for Rodgers and Rodgers left it for White and then threw it backwards. Yeah.
What you want to do is someone to pick the ball up and throw it in. That's not a guidance from the manager in any ways. That's common sense from a footballer's point of view. Or put the ball down, or you're in the 93rd minute and we got a free kick in our half, and the goalkeeper then has just got to feather the ball up and put it straight on Dan Burn's head, and we look for little bits and pieces around. That is what's needed at that time of the game. You won't do that all the time, but at 93 minutes when you're chasing an equaliser, that's what's needed. Our goalie played a short one, and we ended up after 4 or 5 passes with a free kick on the edge of the box. All we've done is run the clock down for ourselves.
Yeah, they look a bit laid back at times, some of the England players. And actually, what we need from some of them, Cole Palmer is a great example of this, because he can do something unusual. He can do something risky. He can play a pass that is unexpected, that the opposition don't expect. But we really didn't see any of that. There's a lot of checking back. There's a lot of sideways passing. There's a lot of safe passing. Are they nervous? And if so, why?
Well, you've got to understand as well, if you're playing Phil as a dropped-off centre-forward and you're playing Cole Palmer as a dropped-off, almost an advanced midfield player, could be a dropped-off centre-forward, when they actually do get the ball and turn, who's in front of them to feed the ball to in the central area? The answer's nobody, because both of them are dropped off to get in to receive the ball and whatever, so they've got to work it between themselves to get an effort at goal, which wasn't forthcoming.
You've been involved in tournaments with England, mainly as a player, and let's talk about those, because going into World Cups, sometimes 90, for example, England weren't in great form at all. Going into Euro 96, Alan Shearer wasn't in great form. There wasn't any form going on. So is this kind of normal, and should we just hold back on the criticism until we get to the World Cup and just judge it there?
I think the answer is probably yes. History tells us that. But I think there's a reality check has probably been delivered over these two games, I would say. You know, yes, it's been fragmented in regard to the players here and the players not here and all of those types of things. But what will happen is we have to go to a tournament and get momentum in our play and find a way. I think Tuchel has looked at the team and he's answered a lot of correct tactical situations that we didn't have before. You know, like we were playing Foden out wide and Palmer out wide. It's not their game isn't to go past people out wide with pace. He's worked that out, and we realise it's either Rashford or it's Madueke, it's Saka, whoever it may be, wingers out there. When they go past people, that's when you need your Harry Kane in the box as such. So I think he's learned a lot, and sometimes in adversity you learn that little bit more, and these two games has hurt us a little bit.
We're hoping to hear from Thomas Tuchel very shortly. The Sports Bar is coming up as well. You can get your calls in 03717 223344. It is Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy on the Sports Bar. They'll be taking your calls. Stuart's unhappy that England have lost. He'll be happy that Wealdstone didn't just win. They won 7-0 tonight, full times in the National League. Wealdstone 7, Hartlepool 0. Southend got a late winner against Yeovil 2-1, and Woking equalised against 10-man Altrincham. That finished 1-1. There's another goal to tell you about in the World Cup playoff. Czechia have gone 2-1 up against Denmark. That is in extra time. It's still Bosnia 1, 10-man, Italy 1. That is in extra time as well. In the other two playoffs, Turkey have won. They're going to the World Cup. Sweden are going to the World Cup, having beaten Poland 3-2. That's a playoff, isn't it? 3-2, and the winner from Arsenal's Victor Gyökeres. What would be your message, Stuart Pearce, to England fans who are thinking, oh, this is going to be the same old England going to a World Cup. This is going to be, it's not even going to be heroic failure. They might be really down after these two friendlies in March. They might just be thinking, what's the point?
Yeah, I think you've got to temper your disappointment with knowing full well that we've got some talent here. You know, we've been talking around who's going, and you're talking about leaving people potentially like Phil Foden at home. That shows the magnitude of the ability within the squad. We've just got to find our way. You've just got to be fortunate with a draw. We might have to nick a little penalty shootout en route, but I'm excited. I am still excited for the World Cup this summer, and I think it will take a team and a half to knock us over.
Do you think we have a serious chance of winning it?
We got a chance of winning it. If you said to me, and I've made this statement before, people have said to me, can England win the World Cup this summer? I've always turned around and said, I don't think we can. I think the travel, the climate and all those types of things will count against us. I hope I'm proved wrong.
We'll do more on the Talksport Daily about the squad that's going to be going and the 11 we expect to start at the World Cup. But in terms of players who played their way out of it, we've talked about Phil Foden and whether he's going to be on the plane. I'm pretty certain he's not going to be on the plane. In terms of others, Nico O'Reilly might have played himself into the starting lineup for England at left back. Lewis Hall did okay when he came on, but Nico O'Reilly seems to do a lot more, doesn't he?
Well, for his club, he's proved he can get a goal as well. So O'Reilly certainly has done not a great deal wrong in giving another option at left back. But I think whereas in previous tournaments we've gone in and Luke Shaw's been a comfortable left back, I think there's questions about who might start, and I'm still not sure.
Yeah, there's lots of questions to be answered. If you want more from Stuart Pearce, Jim Proudfoot and me, Adrian Durham, Talksport Daily tomorrow morning will be where you get your podcasts, and we'll deliver a lot more reaction to what's been a really disappointing evening here at Wembley. Live on Talksport, it finished England 0, Japan 1. Thomas Tuchel making history. England becoming, they've lost their first game to an Asian nation. It happened tonight on Tuchel's watch, and it wasn't good as we head to a World Cup. You can have your reaction now on the Sports Bar, 03717 223344.